Your Huntsville Hornets look to take down the Montgomery Bears here in Montgomery, Texas at the Montgomery Baseball Complex. Once again, thanks for tuning in, folks. My name is Houston Hardcastle. Welcome into the 101.7 KSAM YouTube channel alongside me, BJ McMichael. Obviously an exciting matchup here today. Huntsville looking to keep their playoff hopes alive, BJ, and it just supposed to start at 7 o'clock, but Southeast Texas did what Southeast Texas did. We've battled a little bit through the rain under the bleachers, but now looks like we're going to get started here in Montgomery.
Yeah, I got to hang out underneath the bleachers for a little bit, find some dry spots where we could while we watched some Astros baseball for a little bit, seeing the teams come out to the field. They just came out to the field. I think they're going to go with no starting lineups, nothing, about to just head right into the game. So, yeah, we get to bring it to you a little delayed, but weathermen, it's like, they have a batting average worse than baseball players sometimes.
Yeah.
We were talking about it. They keep their job still, so we're out here to bring you some Hornet baseball.
Yeah, and it's a lot of playoff implications in this one, which is kind of why they were kind of just waiting out the weather. Obviously this is a game can't be rescheduled because it does have playoff implications. Currently, District 17 looks like this. In first, Lake Creek 8-2 in district, 15-8-1 on the year. In second, Brenham 6-4 in district. In third, College Station 6-4. Montgomery, who Huntsville is playing tonight, sitting in the 4 spot right now, 6-4. A&M Consol at 6-6, right behind them at 5. And Huntsville in the 6th spot right now, 4-6. But BJ, you went out and you get yourself a notch in the playoffs. So a big time game here tonight in Montgomery, Texas.
Yeah, it really is. So it's going to be that playoff type atmosphere because it's almost like a play-in game. These next two, it's almost like a play-in game. You win these two, you get that 4th spot because, Brenham's playing against Rudder. We know Rudder, they've improved, but they're going to win it. They're going to get that next spot there with Rudder, most likely going to win those 2 games. So it comes down to this. You got Van the Man on the mound tonight. You don't get the next game if you don't get this game. So playoff implications, playoff atmosphere, especially for the Hornets. It looked like some Hornets fans traveled with us and braved the rain. So we're going to have we'll have a good crew out here for our Hornets. And so we're going to try to see if we can't bring home a win for them.
And it was a tough loss last Thursday against a good A&M Consol team. Huntsville found themselves down early, 4-0, 3-0, if I'm not mistaken, heading into the 7th inning. But were able to scratch across 3 runs across the board, as it was 3-0. So they're in the 7th. And so Huntsville able to tie it up there in the 7th, but then a walk-off pass ball by A&M Consol gives them the win over Huntsville. Just a tough way to lose, but, I talked with Jennings a little bit before the game, so we'll go ahead and get into we'll see what he has to say about that matchup. But, obviously just a tough way to lose. But, Huntsville looking for a little bit of revenge after a bad taste in their mouth after that one.
Yeah, it was. They were chasing 3 coming into that last inning. They were able to get it, and Jackson Slater, man, he was the guy up to bat to drive in that run. As I knew, only 1 strikeout in district play. The kid just makes contact, and all you needed was contact. He sent the ball to left field, able to get that tag, sacrifice, get that runner in, and you just felt like it was the Hornets' night and just couldn't close the deal. But, hey, they have a chance here. It's still in their hands, and so that's what they have to take the opportunity to do.
A little bit of a weather delay. Again, like we talked about, still standing around are the umpires. So we'll go ahead and get into that conversation with head coach Justin Jennings here on the 101.7 KSAM YouTube channel. Here is the Bill Fick Ford Coaches Convo. All right, this is Houston Hardcastle standing by with Huntsville's baseball head coach Justin Jennings. Coach, obviously, before we get into the matchup tonight, just talk about that loss you had last Thursday. Obviously, kind of a heartbreaking loss there in the bottom of the 7th, but just kind of give your final thoughts on that one.
Yeah, it was a tough one. We had seized complete control of the game there in the top of the 7th and took the lead, and then we got the leadoff man out that inning, and, everything was set up for us. And then, a couple walks, and, they put a couple balls in play, and we just didn't execute. And, it's like that sometimes. It happens like that, but tough loss. And, we had to turn the page quick, and obviously with the Easter weekend, that kind of helped to turn the page because you had a couple of days off. So we're ready to roll, man.
All right, next question here for you, Coach. Obviously you guys showed a lot of resilience in that game. You found yourself down 3-0 going into the top of the 7th, but able to scratch 3 runs across the board, tie it up. Just what's the vibe and practice this week to, kind of just keep preaching resilience and, that never give up attitude?
Well, we just all we need is a chance. That's it. We just have stayed after. We've kind of stayed the course and just kind of applied the pressure to them, and that's what we've talked about in the dugout. Just don't make it easy for them. Don't make it easy on them. Go out and compete your tail off, and if it's going to happen for you, it'll happen. And that's all you can really do is we're just asking for them to go out and give their best effort, and if it works in our favor, great. But let's just let's go down with a fight and give ourselves a chance.
Obviously some playoff implications going into tonight, so if you guys are able to win out, able to get a spot there in the playoffs. So just talk about what you're looking for tonight to get a big win. Obviously you got to win out, control your own destiny, but just what are you seeing from Montgomery tonight? How are you looking to come out here with a big time win?
Right now they're playing really well. I would say probably as good as anybody in the district at this point. So offensively, they're going pretty good right now, and solid club all the way around. I think their pitching staff is, they're average, nothing spectacular, but it takes a lot of pressure off their pitching staff because their offense is pretty good. So it'll be a tough task for us tonight. Van's going to have to he's going to have to be really good. He's going to have to be, how he's been here of late, and then we're going to have to make some plays and get something going offensively. And we did get a little bit of a slow start last week, but we did a lot of good things offensively. So just going to have to compete our tails off in the box, and we're going to have to get a good outing from number 4.
Awesome. Last question here for you, Coach. Final keys to the game tonight for you guys to come out of here with a big district win, keep your playoff hopes alive, and keep chugging along, hopefully into the postseason.
Kind of along the lines of the things I always say. We got to get off to a good start. Obviously being the visitor here, if we could score first, that would be huge. Just kind of settle in, and we just need to be good early. We don't need to make any early mistakes, a couple walks, hit by pitch, or an error here or there. So just get off to a good start and be consistent early on. If we do that, we'll have a chance at the end. And again, that's all we're looking for.
Sir. Coach, I appreciate your time. You. Best of luck to you tonight.
Thank you.
We'll go back into the Pilfic Ford countdown to first pitch as Montgomery getting ready to get started in this one. We'll go ahead and quickly go over starting lineups for both teams, starting with your Huntsville Hornets. Batting first, it's number 3, Noah Nieto, doing catching duties for the Hornets tonight. Batting second, number 8, Carson Woods, playing out in right tonight. Batting third, number 6, Josh Stanley, playing at the second base position tonight. Batting fourth, number 49, Jackson Slater, who we highlighted a little bit in the pregame, playing at the shortstop position for the Hornets. Batting fifth is number 28, Brian Parker Jr., the always sturdy first baseman for the Hornets. And in the circle tonight, batting sixth, it's number 4, Van Brady, doing pitching duties tonight for the Hornets. Batting seventh is number 5, Johnny Waddle, playing out in center today. And batting eighth is number 1, Austin Taylor, playing out in left. And finally, rounding out the lineup, batting ninth, number 17, Colton Gilbert, playing over at third base today for the Huntsville Hornets. Head coach of the Hornets is Justin Jennings. Assistant coaches are Justin Stanlin, Jonathan Goree, and Blake Yonker and Logan Smith. Now, for the Montgomery Bears, they got a lot of depth, as we were talking about, a lot of bench spots, but their batting lineup is as follows. Batting first is number 14, Chase Hyatt, playing out in right today. Batting second, Drake Cox, number 31, playing second base. Batting third is Wyatt Clouet, playing out in left. Number 19, batting fourth, Stratton Dreyer, number 21, playing third. Number 5, Grant Richardson. Batting sixth, Carson Nelson. Batting seventh, Will McKenzie. Batting eighth, Evan Shidorich. Batting ninth, Lucas Holzer. And pitching for Montgomery, number 6, Carson Irwin. So here we go. First pitch is underway, and that is swung on and missed by Nieto, and the count is going to be 0-1 here for the catcher early.
Man, perfect timing. Great read through the lineups. You got right in time for the first pitch.
Had to kind of speed through those there at the end, but Nieto takes that one for a strike, a slider right across the plate. Found himself down 0-2 in the count.
Yeah, we got a good look here right behind the plate from this one.
And that one is swung on and chopped over to second base. Nieto's hustling for the plate, and he is going to be called out over there at first. So it's going to be the first out of the inning for Huntsville. Nieto with great speed on the base path, just unable to beat out that throw.
Yeah, just by a step, they got him over there. Good play there by the second baseman coming across second base to get to that one and get that one throw over to first base. Nieto was hustling down the line, just couldn't beat it out.
Next up for Huntsville, Carson Woods, playing out in right today, doing right fielding duties today for the Hornets. Swings at that one, and a Dropped pitch there by the catcher, so he finds himself down 0-1 here in the count early.
Yeah, he committed to that swing early. That ball was starting to ride in on his hands and may have snuck in and hit him by the pitch, but he was already committed to that swing early.
So Irwin finding himself ahead in the count here early. One out here, takes that one for a strike. Another slider across the plate for the pitcher, Irwin. Woods just looks at that one, 0-2.
Yeah, I got to protect the plate here by Woods. Anything close, got to be swinging. Good look on that one.
And that one is high outside the zone for an early or a 1-2 count here to Woods.
Yeah, you got to expect the chase pitch there, wanting to see if we couldn't get him swinging at a high pitch and get a second out early here.
Here's the pitch, well outside. Good eye there by Woods. Irwin doesn't get him to chase, so it evens the count up at 2-2.
Yeah, watched it out of his hands, going far outside. Woods was able to pick that one up.
One out here in the top of the first, 2-2 count. Here's the pitch. He holds up. Good eye there by Woods, outside the zone, and all of a sudden it's a loaded count here for Woods.
Yeah, held up really well. They didn't even appeal down to first because Carson was able to hold that back from getting across the plate.
Here's the full count pitch. And he is going to be called strike 3. Oh, man. Woods thought he had a free trip over to first base, but the umpire emphatically calling him out. Second out of the inning for Huntsville.
Yeah, it looked a little bit low by our view, but don't want to show up. The umpire really kind of threw the bat over there, so Carson's going to have to bear down. Stanley coming up here. Even with 2 outs, Stanley wants to try to get on.
Here's the pitch. That one in there for a strike right over the middle of the plate. And Hornets just kind of finding themselves down early here in the counts. Here's the pitch in there for strike 2. So Stanley watches a couple over the plate go right by him. So he finds himself down 0-2. 2 outs here in the top of the first for Huntsville.
Yeah, Irwin's starting to fill up that zone here against Stanley.
Here's the 0-2. Swung on and missed, so that Huntsville goes 3 up, 3 down. Unable to put anyone on the base path are the Hornets as Montgomery gets ready for the top of their lineup. We'll be right back after this on the Hornet Nation Broadcast Network, powered by KSAM Sports.
With the new year comes great things, and here at Wiesner in Huntsville, that means lower prices. Hi, folks. Clint Mack here with Wiesner Chevy in Huntsville, and we're starting the year out by giving our best deals around. Come in and get a 2025 Chevy Colorado starting at only $29,995, or a 2025 Chevy Malibu starting at only $25,995, and get 1.9% APR. Need a full-size truck? Take up to $8,000 off a 2025 half-ton crew cab. Ask dealer for details right here at Wiesner in Huntsville. Take advantage of the great inventory here at Wiesner Chevrolet, or visit us online at WiesnerHuntsville.com.
Welcome to the bottom of the first inning here as Montgomery is due up to bat here. I want to remind everyone listening that tonight's video broadcast is being presented in 2K Quad HD with a 4K Ultra HD enhanced presentation. Closed captioning is also available for the hearing impaired. Didn't get to go through all my intro spiel, so now you're getting it here in the bottom of the first, since the umpires kind of hurried everyone out onto the field.
Yeah, we came back out here and they were just saying, nope, no lineups, not even the national anthem. It was just, let's just get it started.
Let's get into it.
Maybe they got some dinner they got at home that they want to be sure to get to.
Yeah, maybe the umpires just wanting to get out of here early. No starting lineups, no national anthem here. Flag at half-mast.
Well, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't mind Van Brady helping that along and getting some quick outs each of these innings. And, Hornets come out with the win, and we can let them get home early and enjoy their dinner.
Vintage Van in doing pitching duties tonight for Huntsville, getting a talk from Brian Parker Jr. As here comes the first batter up for Montgomery. It's Chase Hyatt doing right fielding duties tonight for Montgomery.
Yeah, and you got to be careful this Montgomery team. We cover the Hornets a lot, and you don't know much about the other teams. But this is a team that beat Lake Creek. They only lost to them 1-0, and then took the second game from them pretty significantly. I think it was like 12-2, pretty decisive win. So this is no slouch of a team, and you heard it with Jennings if you're able to hear the opening talk. They got some work to do to come out and get this Montgomery Bear team. They're a good team.
First pitch from Van Brady, low. Outside the zone, 1-0 count here to Hyatt as he lays off that one from Van.
Yeah, they're gonna see some Van
That one is hit over in the gap between second and third, and that is going to put a runner on the base path for Montgomery. First hit of the evening for the Bears. So now you've got a runner on first if you're Van. No outs here in the bottom of the first.
Yeah, Cox just really went with that outside pitch and just kind of drove it to the left side of the infield. No way that Slater was going to get to that one. Slater's got good range and good speed, but that was just a shot put right in that hole between third and short. So credit to Cox there for getting that ball through, and now got to see Hyatt. Now we got Cox.
Here's the first pitch, well outside past
hitting.
Nieto, and he's going to head over to second is Hyatt. So a wild pitch there from Van, unable to be caught cleanly by Nieto, is going to send a runner over to second, 1-0 count.
Yeah, you don't know if that's a wet baseball. You know, even with a turf field, it's going to pick up some moisture, and you don't know if got a little bit on it and got away from him on that one, but that one went straight to the backstop. Good bounce there for Nieto, though.
Yeah, right off the wall. Thankfully, right back into his glove. So here's the 1-0 from Van to Cox. And the pitch outside for ball two. So Van having a little bit of trouble locating the zone here early against Montgomery.
Yeah, this Drake Cox, you got to watch out for him. Just a sophomore. He plays center, plays infield. He batted .283 last year as a freshman. So this is one of those players you got to watch out for. He bats two-hole for a reason.
Playing at second base today for Montgomery in the infield. Here's the 2-1
pitch
in there for a strike.
That is such a dirty pitch right there. They've good chance. They've seen a couple of pitchers in this district be able to pitch like Van, but if Van's got that ball moving, it's going to be tough.
And, you know, Cox just kind of looking at it the whole way, didn't even think about swinging, thought it was outside, but, you know, just at the end there is able to kiss the zone, give Van a 2-1 count here. Here's the pitch. That one is swung on but foul, so a lot of power there from Cox, just unable to keep it in play.
Yeah, and you'll probably see Nieto asking for a new ball fairly often because with Van's motion, the way he goes inside, outside, he depends on that ball movement. So he's going to need to have a fairly dry ball to be able to get that spin on the ball to be able to get it to move. So getting a ball back to Van that's not picked up the moisture is going to be important.
So Van Brady with a 2-2 count here to Cox. Looks over at the runner in Hyatt at second. And here's the pitch. Low for ball three. Looked like that one may have been in the zone, but umpire calls that one a ball. Loads the count up here for Drake Cox.
Yeah, you got some Hornet faithful here. Talking a little bit early. Backing up their pitcher.
Definitely looked like it was in the zone from our angle, but here's the pitch.
Oh, good pitch.
Ring him up for a strike. A dirty pitch from vintage Van Brady. Just kisses the outside of the strike zone, and that's going to be the first out of the inning for Montgomery.
Absolutely froze. Cox didn't even get the bat off his shoulder. He just thought that was going to travel as a ball. Came back in there, snuck it in back door. Beautiful pitch by Van.
That'll bring up the 3-hole hitter in Wyatt Cluett, playing in left today for Montgomery with a runner on second. One out here in the bottom of the first. Van takes his time, looks over at second, and here's the pitch.
Another good pitch.
Another really good pitch by Van Brady, just able to get that, squeak it into the strike zone, 0-1.
Yeah, that's what's great about Van. He can start from the outside the strike zone and bring it in, but he can also start from the middle of the plate and bring it in. So you're either getting a jam shot, you're getting something off contact, off the barrel of the bat. Such a good pitcher.
Here's the 0-1 to Cluett. With one out in the bottom of the first, that one is swung on, but chipped foul right behind us here at the netting. Thankfully, the netting is here, or it would have gone right into the head of our producer in Damien Smith.
Protected by the net, yeah. We're right down here field level. But if this netting were not here, yeah, we would have to go into concussion protocol.
An 0-2 here to Cluett. Van with a lot more confidence here on the mound. One out. Here's the pitch.
Oh.
In there. Ooh.
That's a good pitch.
Just outside the zone there. Van trying to go outside in, but just unable to locate the zone there. 1-2 count.
Yeah, it's trying to see if we can get a little bit of a chase, but that was a close one. I don't know how he let that one go.
1-2 count here to Cluett from Van Brady. Rockets that one, but it is foul. So no play there for Huntsville as that one is hit over the dugouts. So count remains at 1-2.
Yeah, you see some of these late swings and kind of just fouling things off. Nothing, except for that first hit getting barreled up. And Van just does a great job at keeping them guessing. Looking for a certain pitch, not getting it, off balance swings. And so Van keeps that up all night. His ball club's going to be in it all the way to the very end.
Here's Van's 13th pitch. That one is well inside for ball 2. Looking to maybe get an awkward swing there from Cluett, but lays off of it. Counts now 2-2.
Yeah, awkward swing. Changed the eye level. Went from up high, down low, outside. Now I could see him moving that ball from outside inside again, trying to get that outside corner.
Runner in high on second. 2-2 count here to Cluett. One out here in the bottom of the first for Van Brady. Here's the pitch. The runner goes for third. Swing and a miss, and that is going to be the second out of the inning for Montgomery as Van Brady gets him to chase, but Hyatt will move over to third.
Yeah, it looks like they had a little hit and run action going on there. Unable to get the hit, but did get the runner to go over to third. But getting that second out is big. Any out right now, out at first base, gets you out of the inning. So Van's most likely gonna be sure to concentrate on Dyer. The only thing is this is a deep backstop, so Nieto, your all-star catcher, your first district catcher, is gonna have to make some defensive stops back here.
That one is in there. No, they're going to call that one a ball. But Van Brady with 2 strikeouts here on the day, looking to get a little bit more confident. But a 1-0 here to Stratton Dyer, the third baseman for Montgomery. Here's the 1-0. That one
Good stop.
Is thankfully stopped by Nieto, but it will bring the count to 2-0. So Van finding himself down here in the count on his 16th pitch of the inning. Just looking to get that final out is Vintage Van on the mound. Two outs here to Dyer. So here's the pitch. That one nearly got away from Nieto again. 3-0 count here as that one was a little bit low on that right side. So a 3-0 count here to Dyer, and if you're Van, the last thing you want to do is put another runner on the base path.
Yeah, especially with Grant Richardson looming there in the hole there, or on deck. He's got speed, he's got power, he's a significant player in that Bear lineup. So yeah, you definitely, even with a 3-0 count, you want to come after Dyer.
Here's the pitch, well inside, ball 4. So runners on the corner here for Montgomery. And here comes Grant Richardson up to the plate, doing center fielding duties today, batting in the 5-hole for Montgomery. Could give them their first run of the game with a 1 swing of the bats.
Yeah, going to have to come after Richardson here. Again, he's got a lot of great speed, often steps up there for his team. He is a senior outfielder. He was second-team all-district outfielder last year for the Montgomery Bears. Hit .275 for the season as a junior, so he's definitely somebody you have to be careful with.
Runners on the corner here for Van Brady. Here's the first pitch, outside and in, and the runner is going to take second in Dyer. Nieto thought about the throw, but just didn't want to throw it in the path of Van Brady. So a 1-0 count here to Richardson.
Yeah, you've seen these plays even at the major league level. They're trying to get that runner in a rundown going from first to second to see if you can't squeeze a run, get that runner from third. So I've seen it a lot more, especially high school level, even at the pro level.
2 outs here. Here's the 1-0. That one in there for a strike. Good pitch there by Van Brady. A slider going from left to right. Evens the count at 1-1.
Yeah, Nieto just had that spot right there for him. Van just hit the spot that he needed to hit there to even up the count.
Here's the 1-1. That one is swung on, hit foul. Parker Jr. is hustling for it, but that one is going to be almost a phenomenal play there by Brian Parker Jr., the first baseman. Got a glove on it, but just unable to make the play. It would have been a phenomenal play by the first baseman, but 1-2 count here to Richardson. So Van finds himself ahead here in the count.
Van give a little smile and a little point to his first baseman over there. He recognizes the hustle, knows that Parker would want to secure that one, but good to see Van be able to kind of pick up his first baseman there a little bit, just saying, I got you, bud.
And a great effort by the first baseman,
Really great effort. Just the fence is what knocked it out.
Yeah.
I think he had it, and the top of the fence just knocked it out of his glove.
So 1-2 here to Richardson. 2 outs in the bottom of the first. If you're just tuning in, runners at second and third. Here's the pitch, swung on over to third, and that one is going to get through and send the runner in high at home. So it's an RBI single for Grant Richardson to give Montgomery the lead.
Yeah, that's tough right there. Brian Parker Jr. probably feeling it a little bit, but you can't fault the kid. He made a really good play over there, almost secured it. That ball was just hit to deep short. Most likely going to score one. With Richardson's speed, he was going to be safe at first. Good job by Slater just hanging on, eating the ball there, making sure not to make a wild throw and get that runner at third to home. You just kind of concede the one run and make sure you don't give up a second.
So that'll bring up the 6-hole hitter, Carson Nelson, playing at shortstop today for Montgomery. He's got runners on the corners with 2 outs. That one is swung on near Van, but the play is going to be made at second, and that is going to be the third and final out of the inning for Huntsville. So they do surrender a run, but are able to get the third out of the inning.
Good job there. Way to stay with it. This ground, even though this is turf, it gets wet, things can skip really easy. And so good job by Stanley staying there with it, getting it over to second base to secure that third out.
And that we'll be right back after this on the Hornet Nation Broadcast Network, powered by KSAM Sports. Up next is Huntsville's 4, 5, and 6 hitters.
Hello, this is John Burleson, president of Buckhorn Roofing. We specialize in residential and commercial roofing. We do roof inspections and roof replacements. We offer a 30-year architectural shingles that comes with a manufacturer warranty and workmanship warranties. On our commercial side, we offer roofing for businesses, offices, schools, and hospitals. Roofs consist of TPO, PVC, and silicone coating. We also can offer up to 20-year, no-dollar limit warranties on all commercial roofing. Please give us a call at 936-852-2044 or visit us at buckhornroofing.com.
Welcome back into the Hornet Nation Broadcast Network. 4, 5, and 6 due up for Huntsville and Slater, Parker Jr., and Van Brady as we head to the top of the second inning here. Montgomery able to scratch a run across the board there in the bottom of the first on an RBI single, but Huntsville, you know, they're always going to just try and stay and hang around in it. Only 1-0, still a lot of baseball left to play.
Yeah, especially since we had a late start time. Got a lot of baseball. And I like it, you know, Jackson coming up here to lead things off. He is your walk leader, tied with your walks for district play for your Hornets. But he's also only had 1 strikeout in district play. So he's the kid that you want up there to make contact, get on the base path somehow, and to see if he can't hand it off to Parker Jr., Brady, and Waddell to see if they can't move him around. So like to see this kid start off hot and get his Hornets, give them some, some encouragement moving forward, some momentum as we get into the second inning of this game.
As into the batter's box will step Jackson Slater. Looking to get on the base path for Huntsville. Find themselves down 1-0 here in the top of the second. So here is the pitch. That one is swung on over to third, but a great catch over there at third base by Dyer. That was a rocket and a missile by Jackson, but unfortunately hit the ball hard, but just right into the glove of the third baseman.
Yeah, they just had the third baseman Dyer placed perfectly on that one. Great swing by Jackson. Turned on it, man. Hit a missile down the third base line. Give credit to Dyer for staying with that one because that was a hot shot there in the hot box, hot corner for the Montgomery Bears.
Batting fifth is Brian Parker Jr. That one is hit over too short, and Parker is hustling, but he's unable to make it to first base, so that will be the second out of the inning for Huntsville.
Yeah, another good swing there by Parker Jr., picking up on his 2 base hits that he had coming off of the loss to A&M Consolidated. So if I'm Van Brady here, I'm looking at a couple of pitches. You don't want 3 pitches, 3 outs, and give them any more momentum. You're probably taking a couple of pitches, at least till you see a strike.
So here's the first pitch, well outside for ball 1. Van watches that slider go left to right outside the zone, so finds himself up in the count early, 1-0.
Yeah, I'd keep taking, man. Keep taking till you get a strike.
Here's the 1-0, and that one, another one just outside the zone and low, so 2-0 count here to Van Brady with 2 outs in the top of the second.
Yeah, good job by Van. He's also got 8 walks in district, so Van's got a good eye up there when he's up at bat.
That one, another take by Van Brady, so a good eye here on the base path for the pitcher tonight for Huntsville. Finds himself up early, 3-0, 2 outs here. If he can get on first and bring up Waddell. So here's the 3-0, just right down the middle for Van. Probably didn't expect the pitcher to go right down the middle there, but 3-1 count here.
Irwin even slowed it down just a little bit to make sure that got over the plate. Didn't expect Van to swing at all.
Now one is hit over to third base and a diving catch, but Van is not going to be able to beat that out. So 2 phenomenal plays at third base by Dyer. Unfortunate for Huntsville. That's going to be the 3rd and final out of the inning.
Yeah, Dyer, a Concordia University commit, I believe. He's verbally committed to there. Makes 2 good plays for the Montgomery Bears. And as you're the Hornets, you just got to come out and match it.
So we will be right back after this as we head to the bottom of the 2nd with Montgomery due up to bat here in Montgomery, Texas. We'll be right back after this from the Hornet Nation Broadcast Network, powered by KSAM Sports.
I'm Kobe Lovell, 2020 World Champion hitter, 7-time NFR qualifier.
I'm Ricky Canton, 15-time NFR qualifier, and currently hold the world's record in the calf rovement.
I'm Cody Johnson. I'm a platinum recording country music artist, cowboy team roper.
And I'm No Bull Bill, and I sell trucks. Oh, I don't even know what I'm doing here. Well, at least I sell them to the cool people.
Welcome back into the Hornet Nation Broadcast Network, brought to you by KSAM Sports. We head to the the bottom of the 2nd inning here with Huntsville finding themselves down 1-0. But, you know, Huntsville's still right there in it. A lot of baseball to be played, and so they're making it competitive. Van has had some really good pitches on the mound tonight, so look for him to get going here and allow 0 runs here in the bottom of the 2nd.
Yeah, Van's been pitching well so far. Going to need that continued pitching from your Hornet ace, and so you know, just the defense got to keep playing behind them. Defense has played well. The shots have just been hit at them, have been hit toward the hole and or deep in the hole, and just unable to make the plays that need to be made. And so you just got to match them, especially when you come up for offense. But right here, you got to make sure they don't push any more runs across the board, because you don't want this one to get away from you early.
7, 8, 9 due up here for Montgomery. First up in the batter's box is Will McKenzie doing catching duties today for Montgomery.
Yeah, McKenzie, a senior infielder this year.
That one is a little bit outside for ball 1. Again, another one that looked like it was right across the plate for Van, but a 1-0 count here to the pitcher, McKenzie. That one in there for a strike. No doubter there from Van Brady, getting a little bit of confidence back to tie the count up at 1-1.
Yeah, good job by Van, just trying to fill up the strike zone there on McKenzie. Trying to even up the count, and he did.
Here's the 1-1. Swing and a miss by McKenzie. Van got him to chase down and low, so Van finds himself ahead here in the count 1-2.
Yeah, when you have those pitches moving early, you can get those chases, because it looks like it's going to be there with the strike zone. You commit to it and swing to it. It is outside.
Here's the pitch. That one is a little bit outside for ball 2.
I like Nieto trying to frame that one. Pulled it over from the batter box on the inside.
A valiant effort from Nieto to frame that one, but umpire saw it. Unfortunately, a little different, so evens the count at 2-2 as here's the pitch. Another one outside for Van, trying to get McKenzie to chase as he did earlier in the at-bats.
Didn't try to frame that one. Nieto just knew, nah, it's a ball.
So a loaded count here to the catcher for Montgomery. No outs here in the bottom of the 2nd inning. So here's the windup from Van, and here's the pitch. That one is swung on over to Parker Jr., makes the play, and is able to tag the base for the first out of the inning for Huntsville. Good eye there by the first baseman, Parker Jr.
Yeah, Parker Jr. didn't have to worry about a fence in foul territory. There's no fences to knock it out of his glove on that one. Good job. Good job staying down there by Brian Parker Jr. You got to expect that ball is just going to skip and stay low. So you got to keep that glove down, contact with the turf so it doesn't skip underneath it. We're able to get over to first base and get there before a speedy McKenzie.
So that'll bring up the 8th hitter tonight for Montgomery in Evan Shadorowicz, playing at first today for Montgomery. That one is swung on early. First base on first base action. The second out of the inning for Huntsville is made by Brian Parker Jr.
Man, they just need to have Parker Jr. out there in the infield right now.
Always a sure glove is Brian Parker Jr. over there, the strong, steady first baseman for Huntsville, getting the first 2 outs of the inning here in the bottom of the second, as here comes the 9-hole hitter in Lucas Holzer, DHing tonight for Carson Irwin. So here is the first pitch of the at-bat by Van Brady, unable to locate the zone there for a 1-0, as you hear the Hornet faithful not too happy about that one.
Yeah, speaking about Parker Jr., he's making some great picks out there all year. If you've been watching Hornet baseball, you see him making those picks out of the turf, out of the grass. He's really a help when comes out there the defense for his infielders.
So a 2-0 count here to Holzer, and that one, another one low for Van Brady, so finds himself down here in the count 3-0 to Holzer.
Yeah, he struggled to find the strike zone on these 3 pitches. They've been close, but not anything over the plate.
Here's the 3-0, well inside, nearly hit Holzer, so he is going to head over to first base, thankfully without a concussion. That'll bring up the top of the order for Montgomery. Back up to bat is Chase Hyatt, 1 for 1 on the day.
Yeah, this kid, you got to watch out for him. I think he's batting like .533 average. I mean, he's been a consistent performer for the Montgomery Bears. He is probably their primary offensive weapon. So even with the runner on first, you've got to watch out for Hyatt here. Be very careful with him.
So 2 outs here with a runner on first here. Van still pitching a little bit too far inside to Hyatt, is going to find himself down in the count 1-0. So the runner in Holzer on first with a 1-0 count here. 2 outs in the bottom of the second. Here's the pitch by Van. That one is swung on. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, umpire called the swing on that one.
So Hyatt just trying to lay off that one, kind of awkwardly took a chop at it, but it will tie the count up at 1-1 for Van.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised here if they attempt a stolen base to get into scoring position here in the next couple of pitches.
Holzer with good speed on the base path over there at first.
Good
that
pitch.
One is right down the middle for strike 2 of the at-bat. A good, again, like BJ said, a good pitch there by Van Brady to get that one in the zone. So a 1-2 here to Hyatt with 2 outs.
Yeah, he's got a couple of pitches now to play with, maybe to get Hyatt to chase.
Can be a little bit more creative here if you're Van Brady, but you don't want to be too creative, as that one is a little bit too far inside. Hyatt with a good eye, so a 2-2 count here.
Yeah, I got to be careful there at Nieto. The ball hit the turf there, so hopefully in this 2-2 pitch, he's still got some grip on the ball.
2-2 count, 2 outs in the bottom of the second, a lot of 2s. Van Brady winds up, throws the pitch outside for ball 3. That one was just a heater, just couldn't locate the zone there, and now it's a full count.
Yeah, I had a good look at that one behind the plate here. That was an outside off the plate.
So a full count here to Hyatt, who's 1 for 1 on the day. That one is swung on, hit over to Stanley. Makes the play at second and is able to get it over to Parker Jr. for the 3rd and final out of the inning for Huntsville.
Yeah, way to stay with it was Stanley. Had the runner flashing in front of him, able to stay with it, get it over to his buddy Brian Parker Jr. first to get a big 3rd out in the second.
So we head to the top of the 3rd. Huntsville still finds themselves trailing 1-2 as 7, 8, 9, are due up for the Huntsville Hornets. We'll be right back after this on the Hornet Nation Broadcast Network, powered by KSAM Sports.
Find us on social media on both Facebook and X at KSAM-1017. Also be sure to subscribe to the 101.7 KSAM YouTube channel so you don't miss out on anything going on with your hometown radio station.
Country music is different than other music genres. Our artists sing about family, friendship, the ups and downs of this old world, and living this life. Country music tells the story of us. 101.7 KSAM is your hometown radio station. playing today's best country and all your favorites. And you can have this hometown connection right there on your smartphone with the all-new KSAM mobile app. It's in your iPhone and Android app store right now. And we also have direct links on our website, ksam1017.com.
Welcome back in here. Top of the third inning, 7, 8, 9 hitters due up for Huntsville, and Waddell, Taylor, and Gilbert, as Huntsville still looking for their first hit of the day. See if they can get it here from their 7, 8, and 9 batters.
Yeah, and they really need to pick up, you know, they've improved their batting average over the course of this district play. They started out with Lake Creek as a team batting average 104, increased it to 308 as a team against Rudder, but then they struggled against Brenham, 191 batting average, picked it up against College Station with a team 269 batting average, and against Consol they picked it up a little bit more to 272 batting average. So they need to continue the trend there, especially if they want to take these two from a very tough Montgomery Bear team. So somewhere, somehow, the offense of the Hornets have to start locking in if they want to take this first game, because it doesn't matter about the second game if you can't get this first one.
Here's the first pitch to Waddell. Watches that one go into the zone for strike one. So Irwin had some really phenomenal control here on the mound for Montgomery. Has found himself ahead in the count a lot. So here's the 0-1, a slider in there for strike two.
Yeah, Waddell had 2 big base hits too against that 5-4 loss to A&M. Been good to watch this kid try to get back into it. He struggled a little bit this year, but it was able to increase his batting average from a batting 100 to now batting 286.
That one is hit over to second, and he is going to be able to make the play. That is going to be the first out of the inning for Huntsville. Cox over to Shadorowicz for the first out of the inning for Montgomery.
Yeah, just hit on the wrong side of the infield. Waddell, if he'd have hit that to the third base shortstop side, being a slow roller, he would have probably beat that one out. But short throw from second to first, able to get over to it was Cox and get that out.
So that'll bring up Austin Taylor, batting 8th today for the Huntsville Hornets. As that one is well high over here in the netting. Flinched a little bit at that one, but a 1-0 count here to Austin Taylor.
Nice catch there by the catcher, getting it back between the umpire's legs there.
Another one kind of off the wall here. So we are in enemy territory here, right behind the batter. And that one is hit by Austin, but chopped foul behind us here into the netting. So a 1-1 count here to Taylor, the senior.
Yeah, you know, the senior's wanting to do something big for his ball club. We talked about it all season, injured in a Hornet game. He was your starting quarterback and able to get back here for the baseball season.
So he watches that one in there for ball 2. So a 2-1 count here to the senior. 1 out here.
Yeah, hanging around these kids. You're just a fan of these kids. You want them to do well.
That one right down the middle for strike 2. Taylor just watches that one go and now finds himself tied up in the count 2-2. One out here in the top of the third. No runners on the base path for Huntsville. Looking for their first hit of the day. As that one is well outside. Trying to locate the zone there, but a slider outside to Taylor. So 3-2 count.
Yeah, been pretty consistent on those outside calls so far. Maybe 1 or 2 here, but so far I think he's done a pretty good job behind the plate.
Irwin, and swing and a miss by Taylor. That's going to strike out the senior in Austin Taylor by Irwin. So the second out of the inning for the Huntsville Hornets, and that's going to bring up Gilbert.
Yeah, I know there's times that we get on here, and especially we're for our team, and sometimes there are times when the behind the plate is struggling. But right now, as of right now, I feel like he's calling pretty good, pretty consistent strike zone.
So here comes Gilbert up to the plate. That one is hit high. Play over there for Shadorowicz, and he is going to not make it over there at the dugout, just off the tip of the glove by the first baseman in Shadorowicz.
Yeah, new life there for Colton Gilbert. Tough play going into the dugout there. You got the wall and the railing and pulled up just a little bit, but made a good effort getting over there to it. You had both the catcher and the first baseman trying to make a play over there. That's a long run to get to it.
Yeah, both first basemen for Huntsville and Brian Parker Jr. and Shadorowicz making plays over there near the wall in the dugout, just unable to make it. But an 0-1 count here to Gilbert, playing third base today for Huntsville. 2 outs here in the top of the third. That one is swung on into left.
Fair.
That ball is deep, and that ball is going to be one hop off the wall. Gilbert's digging his heels in for second. The left fielder and Taylor having a little bit of trouble, Cluett, and that is going to be a stand-up double for Gilbert.
Yeah, Nieto pointing out to his third baseman, getting a stand-up double. Well, slid into it, but able to get that big hit there for your Huntsville Hornets. For one thing, you get a hit on the board, so you erase a 0 up there, and being able to get into second with Nieto, runner in scoring position, one-run game. Any runner in scoring position is going to become big.
And the left fielder out there for Montgomery and Cluett, just having a little bit of trouble fielding that one as Gilbert's able to dig for second. So 2 outs here in the top of the third, top of the order due up for Huntsville and Nieto. Swings at that one early, but just kind of chops it foul into the dirt.
Took it off the umpire there.
Yeah,
off the shoulder.
Maybe off the umpire's shoulder.
Yeah, I think that ball in the corner over there that looks like there's a fencing and then there's a green fence, and I think it hit that black fence and kind of just rattled around a little bit there. May have been trouble for him to be able to come up with the left fielder for the Bears.
0-1 here to Nieto, looking for his first hit of the day. That one is well outside, and again, the consistent strike zone on those outside sliders stays consistent. 1-1 count here to the Huntsville catcher.
Yeah, good eye by Nieto, having 1 strike on him, not chasing that pitch, giving him an extra pitch there that he's not having to worry about.
So an even count here to the Huntsville catcher again. Ooh, he's going to call that one a strike just over the plate by Irwin, and Nieto finds himself down in the count 1-2.
Yeah, I got to shorten the swing up a little bit. Right now, you're just wanting any hit through the infield, and with two outs, most likely moving on contact, you're going to score Gilbert there from second. So maybe a little punch through first and second would be right what the Hornets want.
Irwin looks over at the runner at second and Gilbert. And here's the pitch. That one is swung on by Nieto. A hot shot in the left.
He's going to try it.
Gilbert is going to go home. Here's the throw, and it is going to be no call. And he's out. Thrown out by the left fielder in Cluett. Able to get that one on a frozen rope to the catcher, McKenzie. And that is going to be the third and final out of the inning for Huntsville. Good effort there by Gilbert.
Yeah, you had to chance it right there. You had to challenge. You got 2 outs and you got a base hit. You don't know if you're going to get that again by Jennings. You have to challenge that left fielder. He did make a good throw to the catcher, and then unfortunately for the Hornets, got the out.
So that will bring us to the bottom of the third inning. Huntsville still finds himself down 1-0 here in Montgomery, Texas, but getting some rallying going here as we head to the bottom of the third. Be right back after this on the Hornet Nation Broadcast Network, powered by KSAM Sports.
Huntsville wakes up to the all-new KSAM Wake Up Morning Show with Brian and Tracy. Get a positive start on your workday with local news, weather and sports, and some inspiration and laughs to warm you like a hot cup of coffee. And now you can join the daily conversation with Brian and Tracy by calling or texting the KSAM listener line at 936-295-4102. Come on, neighbor. The all-new KSAM Wake Up Morning Show with Brian and Tracy on 101.7 KSAM.
Bottom of the third action here in Montgomery, Texas, as Huntsville still finds himself down 1-0 here, but we're going to head on into the meat of the lineups. 2, 3, and 4 due up for Montgomery.
Yeah, you're going to have to be careful coming off of a big throw by the left fielder, getting the Hornets out at home. You don't want them to carry any momentum into this at-bat. So be really important to try to get 3 up, 3 down here and get your offense back out there, knowing you can put 2 hits on the board. That's a big deal, and get some fire under the feet of the Hornet offense.
So into the batter's box for Montgomery is Cox. No hits on the day. Struck out in his first at-bat. So he's looking to get on the base path for Montgomery. Here's the first pitch. That one is swung on but foul into the turf here at Montgomery. So down 0-1 in the count is Cox.
Yeah, you like seeing him without anybody on the base paths. Again, sophomore as a freshman, he hit .283 on the year for the Montgomery Bears in a very tough district. So you're playing in a tough district, be able to hit .283 on the season. You're no slouch up there at the plate. So not having anybody runners on, try to get this out in Cox.
Here's the 0-1. That one is hit foul into the netting here in Montgomery. Caught in the on-deck circle by Cluett. No glove. Impressive catch there. But 0-2 count here to Cox.
Yeah, ahead of the count. Van is a dangerous pitcher, especially when he's ahead in the count.
Van able to go deep in his bag of tricks here on an 0-2 as that one is swung on. That ball is carrying into left. Taylor is going to make the play. A little bit of a dive there at the end by Austin Taylor, but first out of the inning for Huntsville.
Yeah, ball hung up there for Taylor as he's running to it, able to get under it, but with the speed of Taylor, you know he's going to be able to make those plays look pretty routine. But, hey, why not spin and kind of ground a little bit, make it look really interesting.
Going for a Sports Center top 10 there, maybe. Maybe a little bit of theatrics on the dive, but regardless, it's the first out of the inning for Huntsville. As into the batter's box is going to step Cluett, looking for also struck out on his first at-bat of the game. So Van familiar with this part of the lineup as that one is outside for ball 1. Knows this lineup well as he was able to strike out both Cox and Cluett.
Yeah, Cluett is a junior utility player, also pitcher. He was a district utility player MVP for this district last year. Batted .410 on the season. Goodness.
So he's got a dangerous bat here, but thankfully Van was able to strike him out in his first at-bat. But now a 2-0 count here to Cluett. 1 out in the bottom of the third.
He's a tall kid up there at the plate, too.
Yeah, no kidding. He is
good
tall,
pitch.
But another good pitch there. A vintage Van pitch there into the zone, outside and in. 2-1 count here.
Yeah, that's such a tough pitch, man. I don't care who you are trying to hit that pitch. Even if you're guessing right, that's a hard pitch to hit.
2-1 count. That one is outside for ball 3. So now Van just 1 pitch away from putting a runner on the base path in Cluett. You got to be a little bit careful here if you're Van Brady. Here's the 3-1. That one is swung on. Another one hit back here in the netting. So it will load up the count here for the pitcher Van Brady. Thankfully, a 3-2 count here to Cluett.
Yeah, I had a little grimace there by Cluett. He knew that's a pitch he wanted to hit and drive somewhere, unable to come up with it. Van gets another pitch to throw at him. May try to freeze him on the outside again.
Here's the 3-2. That one is swung on and missed for the second out of the inning. 2 up and 2 strikeouts for Cluett as Van Brady has figured out this hot bat.
And you could see why Cluett was frustrated at that previous pitch because he knew something like that was going to come at a 3-2 count. Unable to catch up to it, pick it up, and just swing and a miss. Nieto throwing the ball down to third base.
So 3 strikeouts on the day for Van Brady as we are in the bottom of the third. Here's the 0-0. That one is hit into right. Woods is tracking and is able to make the third and final out of the inning as Dyer flies out to the right fielder in Woods.
Yeah, that was a shot. He hit it hard, but then just hit it right to Carson out there. Good job coming up with it. Maybe now Carson can get the out and make a play at the plate in the offense now as he's coming up to bat leadoff.
Huntsville still finds themselves down 1-0 here, but go 3 up, 3 down on Montgomery's lineup as we head to the top of the 4th inning here in Montgomery, Texas. We'll be right back after this on the Hornet Nation Broadcast Network, powered by KSAM Sports.
With the new year comes great things, and here at Wiesner in Huntsville, that means lower prices. Hi, folks. Clint Mack here with Wiesner Chevy in Huntsville, and we're starting the year out by giving our best deals around. Come in and get a 2025 Chevy Colorado starting at only $29,995, or a 2025 Chevy Malibu starting at only $25,995, and get 1.9% APR. Need a full-size truck? Take up to $8,000 off a 2025 half-ton crew cab. Ask dealer for details right here at Wiesner in Huntsville. Take advantage of the great inventory here at Wiesner Chevrolet, or visit us online at WiesnerHuntsville.com.
Welcome back into Montgomery, Texas on the Hornet Nation Broadcast Network. Huntsville down 1-0 here in Montgomery, but let's go ahead and thank some more of our wonderful sponsors who make this broadcast possible. This broadcast of Huntsville Hornet Baseball is brought to you by Bill Fick Ford. No bull, just good deals. And by Buckhorn Roofing, expert roofing solutions in Huntsville, Texas, protecting your home one shingle at a time. Wiesner of Huntsville, home of the bottom line. And also brought to you in part by Huntsville Independent School District. It's a great day to be a Hornet. We're building champions, everyone, every day. So 2, 3, and 4 due up here for Huntsville in Woods, Stanley, and Slater. None of them have a hit on the day. Woods and Stanley struck out in their last at-bat, so maybe looking to get on the base path here today for Huntsville are the 2, 3, and 4 hitters.
Yeah, and this is a kid to start that off, start that base hit train going that you want for the Hornets. He is tied with the team lead in district play for hits with 8 hits on the season for your Huntsville Hornets. So, getting something out there and getting on base path so he can see if his teammates can drive him around is going to be important.
So here's the first pitch of the at-bat. Lays off that one, but it doesn't matter because it is there in the zone for a strike.
Yeah, I caught that outside corner. Just clipped it.
So Irwin with 35 pitches through 4 innings. Look to get his arm a little bit tired here if you're Huntsville, as that one's outside for ball 1. Maybe start working the count a little more.
Yeah, working that count is certainly going to be important. You're absolutely right. Don't fault him there trying to go outside pitch on that one at Irwin.
And that one is in there in the zone to Woods as he just kind of lays off that one. Not really the pitch he wanted, but it is there in the zone. So a 1-2 count here to Woods.
Yeah, I got to watch that outside again. Going to come forward, see if we can get him to chase.
That one is well outside by Irwin. Woods able to lay off that one. Ties the count up at 2-2.
Yeah. May try to jam him after pitching that far outside, see if he goes on the inside pitch here.
Maybe looking to get him to chase was Irwin as we have a 2-2 count here. That one is swung on by Woods, and that one is caught over at short. What a phenomenal catch there by Nelson for the first out of the inning for Montgomery. Man, sometimes you just got to tip your cap. It was a well-hit ball by Woods, but a phenomenal play by shortstop.
Yeah, it jammed him a little bit on the inside, and it kind of hung up there. Good play by the shortstop to read it and come down with it. That was not an easy play.
As that'll bring up Waddell up into the batter's box for Huntsville as 1 out here. Or excuse me, Stanley. As he's also looking for his first hit of the day. Struck out in his last at-bat, finds himself up in the count 1-0. So here's the pitch. That one is hit hard. A lot of pop there by Stanley, but unfortunately unable to keep that one in play. That one would have been a no-doubter for Stanley.
Yeah, came on it early, turned on it early. He guessed right and drove that ball. Would like to seen that one in fair territory.
So here's the 1-1 to Stanley. That one right. Ooh, going to call that one a ball. Kind of looked down the middle here from our angle, but umpire sees it a little bit differently, maybe a little bit high there for Stanley.
Yeah, some extra life there for Stanley.
Here's the 2-1. That one is hit hard over to third base, bobbles the ball, but he looks like he is going to make the play just in time. The third baseman Dyer over to Shadorowicz for the second out of the inning for Montgomery. A well-hit ball, though, by Stanley.
Yeah, way to stay with it was Dyer. Hit right at him, but he was able to stop it. Now a good pick over there by Shadorowicz. Can we just say how great of a last name that is over there?
Oh, yeah, it's so much fun to say. Like Shadorowicz.
Shadorowicz, it just sounds like a baseball player.
Try saying that 100 times.
Good pick over there by Shadorowicz.
As that'll bring up Slater into the batter's box for Huntsville. Also looking for his first hit of the day as he takes that one low for ball 1.
Yeah, should have had it, but Dyer made a really good play, really good position, and the ball just went straight to him first hit.
Here's the 1-0-2, and that one is going to be hit over the third base line. They're going to call that one foul. A well-hit ball there by Slater. Had the right idea down the third base line, but just unable to keep it fair as you see some frustration by him.
Yeah, I wouldn't challenge the third baseman for the Montgomery Bears anymore. We've shown that dude is a vacuum cleaner over there, so if you can keep it away from Dyer, probably be your best bet.
So a 1-1 count here to Slater. Again, both teams feeling each other out. First time they've met in district play this season. That one is well inside. Ooh. That one looked to be a little bit inside for Slater. Must have thought it caught just the inner part of that strike zone. 1-2 count here. That one is swung on, but it's going to be hit over to second in Cox, and he is going to make the play over to Shadorowicz for the third and final out of the inning for Montgomery. So Huntsville once again goes 3 up, 3 down.
Yeah, just a good play there, staying down with it. and able to get that out over at first. I do like the Hornets here making some contact. They're not going up there afraid and letting the ball game happen to them. They're going out and trying to make something happen. You've seen some hard hit balls, unable to find the open area, but even those that have found the open areas. So if you're the Hornets, you're chasing one, but you're feeling good about some of the bats you're putting together.
So Huntsville still finds itself down 1-0 here in Montgomery, Texas. We head to the bottom of the 4th inning for Montgomery as they look to bring up their 4, 5, and 6 batters. We'll be right back after this on the Hornet Nation Broadcast Network, powered by KSAM Sports.
Hello, this is John Burleson, president of Buckhorn Roofing. We specialize in residential and commercial roofing. We do roof inspections and roof replacements. We offer a 30-year architectural shingles that comes with a manufacturer warranty and workmanship warranties. On our commercial side, we offer roofing for businesses, offices, schools, and hospitals. Roofs consist of TPO, PVC, and silicone coating. We also can offer up to 20-year, no-dollar limit warranties on all commercial roofing. Please give us a call at 936-852-2044 or visit us at buckhornroofing.com.
We'll go back in here to the 101.7 KSAM YouTube channel as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning for Montgomery. I want to remind everyone listening to listen to today's best country and all your favorites wherever you may be with the KSAM mobile app. It's in your app store for Androids and iPhones now. Take your hometown radio station with you in the car, at home, or while you're out for a run. The KSAM mobile app. Download today. Finish the ad read right as the batter steps into the batter's box in Dyer. Looks to show bunt, but unable to make contact with that one. An 0-1 count. Excuse me, Richardson. So here's the 0-1 to Richardson, and that one is going to be swung on but foul. Hit that one into the turf and over to the Montgomery dugouts.
Again, Richardson is a second team all-district outfielder for the Montgomery Bears ball club. He is a senior on this team. Batted .275 last year as a junior.
So an 0-2 count here to Richardson. That one is going to be hit over toward Gilbert. He's going to have a tough play to make, and just unable to make it is Gilbert.
Yeah, even if he'd have barehanded that one, just played too far back. Expecting, a deeper ground ball. That was going to be a base hit any way you drew that one up.
So that'll bring up Carter Nelson, the shortstop, into the batter's box. No hits on the day for him, so looking to get on the base path for Montgomery with a runner on first in Richardson.
Yeah, Van wanting to keep that runner close.
So he peeks over, shows bunt, and Nieto's going to make the throw, and it is going to be, can't see the call, but.
I think the ball got to the outfield.
Yeah, couldn't make the throw. Unfortunately, umpire kind of blocked that one for me.
Yeah, I picked it up late. I just saw Johnny in center field picked it up. We're right at field level, so we got the catcher, the home plate umpire, and the batter, and the pitcher.
Yeah, didn't have the best angle on that one, unfortunately, but it will send the runner in Richardson over to second on a stolen base. Good throw by Nieto from what we saw. A lot of laser on that one, but looks like just unable to make the throw.
Yeah, we were just waiting for an out call, maybe hoping that it was there, but skip to the outfield.
So an 0-1 here to Nelson with a runner on second. That one is going to be, he's going to go. Yeah, absolutely. So it's going to be an 0-2 count here. And a strikeout in a situation like this for Van would be huge.
Yeah, it'd be big. No umpire, only 2 umpires running the show tonight. So no one down there to appeal to. However, the home plate umpire said that was a swing.
He did go around from our angle. So an 0-2 count here to Nelson. Again, a big strikeout for Van would be paramount here for Huntsville with a runner on second in Richardson. Here's the pitch. That one is swung on but foul here in the netting in Montgomery. So Nelson will stay alive in the at-bats.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. This out is big, especially with the runner in scoring position. 1-run ball game, middle part of this game. You do not want to give up any more runs that you've got to kind of climb back out of. Because, again, this is a situation which Huntsville needs this win tonight.
And that one is going to be just outside the zone. Van trying to get a little bit creative, get Nelson a chase there. But 1-2 count here.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Well, 2 strikes. I would say this is still not a bunt sign, but with 2 strikes, of course, not wanting to lay down a bunt.
So Van looks over at the runner in Richardson, throws the pitch, and
no one to appeal.
He did not.
Yeah, that's a bad position for the second base umpires. Not going to be able to see that swing.
Again, good point. With only 2 umpires running the show tonight, no one to appeal to, so some tough calls have to be made by these umpires in a game with a lot of playoff implications. So Van peeks over at Richardson. 2-2 count here. Here's the pitch. That one is swung on and hit over to Gilbert, and he is going to not make the play. Parker Jr. just unable to make the catch, but it was a tough play by Gilbert, and so now you've got runners on the corners here for Van, no outs.
Yeah, really tough pick play there for Brian Parker Jr. You saw Gilbert just hesitate a little bit, wanting to hold that runner over on second. As soon as that ball went over and went into the turf, you saw the runner at second breaking for third, and with Parker Jr. unable to come up with it, bouncing away from him, the runner was able to advance to third easy.
So now you've got runners on the corners, no outs, and Will McKenzie up into the batter's box. No hits on the day for the catcher.
Yeah, you got your infield playing in to see if they can't get that out at home.
And a swing and a miss. Nieto will not make the throw over to second, so Nelson now puts himself in scoring position for Montgomery. Runners on second and third, and 0-1 here to the catcher McKenzie.
Yeah, first baseman, third baseman most likely going to play on the grass to see if they can't cut it down. I'm going to have an appeal here.
And yeah, Jennings coming to talk with the umpire.
Don't know what concerns he might have, unless if the batter got in the way.
Maybe could be something. Yeah, Nieto looked like he was going to make the throw, but then didn't. Maybe thought it was because maybe Van was in the way. Didn't want to, pelt Van in the face with the throw, but looks like the peel is unsuccessful, so we will resume play here in Montgomery with runners still in scoring position for the Bears in Nelson and Richardson, and an 0-1 here to McKenzie.
Yeah, infield playing on the grass, try to cut that runner down at home.
Here's the 0-1. Outside for ball 1 of the at-bat. Can locate the zone there on that slider for Van Brady, so that'll be his 61st pitch of the game here in the bottom of the 4th.
Yeah, this is where you got to lock in here. Got to have mental toughness and focus because these are 2 big runs that are out there looming for the Hornets to not let cross the plate.
Another pitch outside by Van Brady, trying to get the catcher McKenzie to chase and go fishing down there low in the zone, but good discipline there by the catcher for Montgomery. Gets himself ahead in the count 2-1.
Yeah, you got to come after these 3 batters at the bottom of the lineup here. You don't want to turn it over to the top with.
Here's the 2-1. Another one outside for Van. So 3-1 here, and if he is going to put McKenzie on to the base path with a walk, it would be bases loaded, no out here for Huntsville. A nightmare scenario for the pitcher. Here's the 3-1. The pitch, swing and a miss.
Good pitch.
So McKenzie just unable to locate that one with the barrel of the bat. Loads the count up for Van Brady. 3-2 count here. Still no outs in the bottom of the 4th, but runners on second and third.
Yeah, still got to lock in here. Brady and the rest of the infielders. 3-2 count. It's going to be swinging at anything close.
See what Van decides to throw here on a 3-2 count, and that one is chopped foul, unable to stay fair for the catcher McKenzie, so he will stay alive in the at-bat, but no play in play for McKenzie.
Yeah, Nieto making sure that ball stayed in foul territory before picking it up.
So still a full count here for Van Brady, 3-2. See the crowd getting into this one. Here's the pitch. Now one outside for ball 4, so we'll send McKenzie over to first, and all of a sudden it's bases loaded, no outs for the Huntsville defense.
Yeah, going to have to make this play at home. Infield probably playing inside again. I would imagine coach is just going to have a conversation with his pitcher here and infielders, let them know here's the play if something happens.
If you're Huntsville, you've got plays anywhere on the base path, so you can throw home, you can throw third, you can throw second. So you've got a little bit of creativity if you're an infielder and on a short hit ground ball if you're Huntsville. Well, we have a little bit of a break in the action. I want to remind everyone listening that tonight's broadcast of Huntsville Hornets baseball on the Hornet Nation Broadcast Network is copyrighted for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this broadcast or any other transmission or accounts of the game without the express written consent of 101.7 KSAM and Huntsville High School Athletics is strictly prohibited. As the mound visit is over for head coach Justin Jennings, Van Brady will stay in the game.
Yeah, just having a conversation with his starting pitcher and infielders, letting them know the situation. That's part of the coaching job that these guys do, just making sure they are aware of every situation, everything that could happen, especially in a tight ball game like this that has so much implications on it. You just want to make sure you use those mound visits in a smart way, appropriate way for your team at the right time.
So that'll bring up Shadorowicz up to the batter's box. 0 for 1 on the day. As that one is swung and that one is deep. That ball is back and that ball is off the top of the wall, but with no outs, the runner is kind of held up there, but it will be a 2 RBI single for Shadorowicz on a deep hit ball into left.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they weren't moving on that one. You had the left fielder in Taylor turning, already looking at the wall. Fortunate that another run didn't come across there and you don't have a runner standing on second and third, so you'll take the wins where you can get them. Yeah, they plated 2, but you still have the force out at third, first, second, and third with only 2 runs crossing there.
That'll bring up Hoser into the batter's box. Got a walk in his first at-bats. And Brady starting to get up there in pitch count with 66. Here's the 67th. That one is hit off the wall, bounces high. Nieto able to make the catch, but it will advance both.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm flinching there. We got a net in front of us, and I still flinch.
Human instincts, man.
It
Human
is.
Instincts.
It is, but I laugh at people on TV when they do that. Now I've become that person.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm like, hey, there's a net in front of you. Don't flinch. And then I just became the person I made fun of.
So you've got Nelson and Shadorowicz in scoring position for Montgomery. Second and third, still no outs here for Van Brady in the Huntsville defense. Here in the bottom of the 4th. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Van Brady. That one ducked by the batter on a 2-0 count.
Yeah, he starts that ball off aimed at the batter, and it just takes him out of the rhythm just a little bit. That one couldn't come back inside and get down enough for him, but when that pitch is on, it's deadly.
Here's the 2-0.
There we go.
In there for a strike, so Van Brady able to locate the strike zone there. A big-time spot, get himself up 2-1 instead of 3-0.
Yeah, that's what he wanted to do on that second pitch. It just didn't quite come down for him, but able to come back to it.
So here's the 2-1-2 Hosler. With runners on second and third, he held off that one low, so a 3-1 count here for Van Brady.
Yeah, even though you got 2 runs that have plated this inning, you still got to bear down here and try to keep those other 2 runs middle of the ball game. 3-0 is a deficit you've come back from before. 5-0 though, it makes it quite a bit tougher for your squad.
The batter and Hosler calls time here. Steps back into the batter's box. 3-1 Van Brady. Here's the pitch. That one is swung on but foul, so gets the count all loaded up at 3-2. Full deck of cards here for Van Brady.
Yeah, just hammered that one into the ground.
So a 3-2 for Van Brady to Hosler. Still no outs here in the bottom of the 4th. Huntsville looking to get their first out of the inning as that one is absolutely swung on, and it's going to be a strikeout for Van Brady on a low pitch that Hosler just could not hold off of.
Yeah, I think the umpire is aware of not having that umpire down first base, so where he can call a swing that's a committed to swing, he's going to call it. He's been pretty consistent with that. We've seen, I think, about 3 of those pitches that have been swung on by the Montgomery Bears and has been called a strike, a swinging strike by the umpire. So heads up play by the umpire to be sure to be aware of what is being swung on and not.
So top of the order back up for Montgomery and Hyatt. Looking to get going back on the base path for Montgomery with 1 out. That one is low and outside for ball 1. Just unable to locate the strike zone there was Van Brady, so finds himself down here in the count.
Yeah, again, very dangerous hitter up here with runners in scoring position, second and third. You do have to be careful with Hyatt in this situation.
1 for 2 on the day is Hyatt, so that one, another good eye there by the right fielder.
Yeah, just a junior outfielder, batted .391 last season, was a first team all-district outfielder for this district. And again, this is a very tough district that we've moved into. So this kid can play, and he's not someone that you want to mess with.
Here's the 2-0. That one is a swing and a miss. So a good pitch there by Van Brady to get Hyatt chasing. So he finds himself down in the count 2-1.
Yeah, don't underestimate this. If Van Brady's able to get this out here and without moving the runners around, that'd be a big out to get, chasing 3 runs.
2-1, 1 out. That one is swung on deep into left field, but it is hooking foul, so it will not be a playable ball out there for Taylor, but a lot of pop there by Hyatt. Evens the count at 2-2 here, and a big-time spot for Van Brady.
Yeah, 3-2 or 2-2 count here. Brady in a good position here. You don't have to give up the plate, especially to a hitter like Hyatt. If you can get him to chase, get something out there that's questionable, it's going to keep him guessing, maybe even freeze him. I'm going to go back to that outside pitch and move it in on that outside corner.
2-2 count to Hyatt. 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th. Here's the pitch from Brady, well outside, ball 3. Hyatt with a good eye there not to chase that one, and so full deck of cards here for Brady.
Yeah, now Brady just got to go after him. You don't want to give up. You do have a base open, so you don't necessarily want to give up the heart of the plate here. You still want to dance around the edges because with a hitter like Hyatt, they may even be thinking about intentionally walking him here with a 3-2. But I'm with Van. I'd rather see Van pitch to it, see if he can't get this out right here.
Here's the pitch inside for ball 4. So now bases loaded, 1 out here, and that is going to bring up Cox. No hits on the day for the second baseman, but he's got bases loaded with 1 out here for Montgomery.
Yeah, and if you had to walk somebody with the base open, that's the guy you're okay with.
Absolutely.
You still love to see a second out there with a base open, but especially after battling back to even that count up to go full.
If you're Van here, probably looking for an awkward jam into the infield with plays anywhere. Here's the first pitch, shows bunt, but in there for a strike. So Van finds himself up in the count, 0-1.
Yeah, don't know. May have been just kind of a flash of a bunt, and I'm maybe not going to be real, just to kind of throw Van off and maybe get a ball chased up there, but looks like Cox was checking his play calling sheet in his back pocket to see what's being called by the third base coach.
Here's the 0-1. That one is swung on deep into right field. That ball is back, and it's going to be caught out there and right by Woods, but the runner is going to tag up, so we'll send a run across the board for Montgomery. But a good play there out there by Woods in right to kind of keep the bleeding to a minimum.
Yeah, stuck with it out there. Off the bat, it looked like it might have a chance getting over his head. Carson Woods able to stay with it, make a good play. That run from third was most likely going to score anyway. You'd have to have an absolute cannon to get the runner out from scoring from third. So able to get that ball back in the infield and see about keeping the runner right there at first, not letting him advance.
An RBI sac fly there for Cox, brings home McKenzie. Now you've got runners on the corners here with 2 outs. Here's the first pitch by Brady. That one is hit hard down the first base line, and that is going to send a runner home in Shadorowicz. Hyatt is digging for third. He's going to be digging for home plate, and it looks like he is going to make it all the way home. So it is a stand-up triple here for Cluett.
Yeah, tough for your Huntsville Hornets there. You just knew Cluett, good hitter, is going to find some time there. He just drove it down the third baseline. Good pitch, but even a better hit there by that young man. Drove in 2 big runs there for his ball club, puts the lead up to 6-0. Hornets, you still got to fight back. This is the game you got to have, so you got to find it somewhere in there, and coach is going to have a conversation with his pitcher.
Going to the batter's box is Dyer for Montgomery, and no doubter there by Cluett. Just a hard hit down the first base line, able to bring home 2. So it's an RBI, 2 RBI triple there. There is going to be a mound visit here. So while we have this break in the action, we'll go ahead and thank some more of our wonderful sponsors who make these broadcasts possible. This broadcast of Huntsville Hornet Baseball is brought to you by Bill Fick Ford. No bull, just good deals. And by Buckhorn Roofing, expert roofing solutions in Huntsville, Texas, protecting your home one shingle at a time. Wiesner of Huntsville, home of the bottom line. And also brought to you in part by Huntsville Independent School District. It's a great day to be a Hornet. We're building champions, everyone, every day.
Yeah, you got Hunter Moore coming into the ball game here to relieve Van Brady. Van, 4-3 really strong innings, found trouble here in the bottom of the 4th. Not the way I guarantee you he wanted to leave this ball game, but man, he has been your ace all season, and the times that you've needed him to step up, he has. Tonight just seems like it was the Bears' night for hitting against him, and again, went out there, did what he could for his team, and now it's up to the Hornet offense to see if they can't strike back and get that 0 changed on the board for them.
And for the Huntsville offense, you still got some outs to work with, 5, 6, and 7, so 9 outs to work with. Again, only a 6-run game. We've seen crazier things happen at both the high school, collegiate, and professional level, so certainly not out of this one, but they've got to start digging themselves out of this hole here, and it starts with getting this 3rd and final out here in the bottom of the 4th to really stop the bleeding, again, that has been this 4th inning.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's not done until you get that 3rd strike of the last at bat for your team. So you gotta get out there and try to scratch back. You don't need all 6 runs in the next inning. You just need a couple to start that trend. And so that's going to be the big part for the Hornets coming out after they get through this inning, get into the top of the 5th, is not to feel like they got to get everything back all at once and start pressing even more.
So into the batter's box is Dyer, 0 for 1 on the day, but drew a walk earlier in the game as he watches that one low for ball 1.
Yeah, if you haven't been watching, this kid's made some really good defensive plays over at third base. He is not one to be messed with over at third. Really good stops.
Here's the 1-0. Low for ball 2, so a 2-0 count here to Dyer. For Moore, who just checked into the game, if you're just tuning in for Van Brady, his day is done here in the bottom of the 4th. So Moore looking to get that 3rd and final out for the Huntsville defense. Here's the pitch. That one is hit hard, but into the Montgomery dugout. So a 2-1 count here to Dyer.
Yeah, challenged him on the inside pitch there. I don't know how in the world he's able to get that down the third base side.
Oppo Taco there for Dyer. So a 2-1 count here. That one outside for ball 3. A lot of heat put on that one by Moore, but just unable to locate the zone. So now 1 pitch away from putting runners on the corner here for the Huntsville defense.
Yeah, I had to question that one. That one looked like it was right over the corner there.
And another pitch outside on that left corner, but it's going to be ball 4 for Dyer. So he's going to draw his 2nd walk of the game for Montgomery. And now you've got runners painted on the corner for the batter in Richardson, who, again, we know what he can do with the bat. 2 at-bats today and 2 hits, so he's 2 for 2 on the day.
Yeah, I got to be careful again with this kid. Able to get to the ball, bat to the ball in a hurry. And then with the runner out there at third base, you don't want to give him an opportunity to get another RBI to his total for tonight.
Only one RBI on the day for Richardson, but again, 2 for 2 in the batter's box. That one is hit over to Gilbert, but it's going to be just a chopper that sends the runner in Clue at home. And now you've got Dyer on second and Richardson on first on a little chopper there down the third base line for an RBI single.
Yeah, it just hit it perfect place where you had Holden on, you had Gilbert holding him on at third, and shaded him over more towards the third base bag, then towards shortstop, and just unable to catch up to that chopper.
So 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th. Runners on first and second for Montgomery. Here's the pitch from Moore, and that one is try to sink that one down into the zone, but unable to locate it there. 1-0.
Yeah, got to find a way to stop the bleeding here. You definitely don't want to let this one be a run-ruled game.
Looks at the runner at second is Moore. That one is jammed and hit high. Nieto is going to look to make the play, and he is going to be able to not make it. Just an unfortunate bounce there out of the catcher's glove. Nieto able to track that one down all the way, but just unable to make the can of corn catch.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like things are going your way tonight, especially with Nieto not getting that one. He started out kind of awkward, maybe expecting the pitcher to come in and get that one, but had to locate it, and it just hit the back of his glove, bounced out. It's just kind of one of those things that you don't normally see, but tonight you might.
It's just one of those nights for Huntsville. Everything just seeming to go not their way as Nelson faces a 1-1 here. Swing and a miss by Moore, so good location there on that pitch. Able to get Nelson to chase 1-2.
Yeah, especially after a drop foul ball like that. That was a good challenge there by Moore. This kid, young kid, just not scared to get up there and throw the baseball.
That one is low on a low pitch there by Moore. So a 2-2 count here for Nelson, 0 for 2 on the day. Has not been on the base path today for Montgomery. Moore looks over at the runner, and it's going to be a pickoff attempt as he went a little bit too far in Dyer, but unable to make the throw in time over to Stanley.
I think that surprised Hunter a little bit.
Yeah, it looked like Dyer maybe lost his footing there over on the base path. Leaned a little bit too far off that base, but stays alive here on the base path for Montgomery. Here's the 2-2. That one is swung on and hit right in the gap between the shortstop and the second base as he is going to hoof for the play, and that is going to be a hit for Nelson. It's going to bring home another run for Montgomery, so an 0-8 deficit here for Huntsville as the 4th inning has just been a nightmare for the Hornets.
Yeah, it really has, and now you got 8 runs on the board. You're in danger of letting them get a 10-run lead before you get into the 5th inning. Do that and you don't scratch one across the plate, it is going to be ball game. So even though it is a big lead, you don't want to give up any more, so you give your team a chance to stay in it.
So that will bring up Will McKenzie, 0 for 1 on the day. Drew a walk earlier in the game, so still hasn't recorded a hit for Montgomery, but has reached the base path. As Moore checks the runner at first, throws the ball, and that one outside, and Nelson's going to head for second and going to make it easily. No throw from Nieto. So now you've got Nelson at second and Richardson at third here for McKenzie. And one swing of the bat could really turn this game upside down for Huntsville, unfortunately. 1-0. That one in there for strike one, so Moore able to get himself a little bit more confidence on the mound. Even the count at 1-1.
Yeah, good pitch there by Moore on the outside corner.
1-1, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th. That one low for ball 2. So just trying to paint that low outside right side corner was Moore, but just can't find his location there. 2-1 here to McKenzie. 2-1.
Oh,
that
pitch.
One good pitch there, but just can't locate the zone there. Tried to go outside and in. It initially was in the strike zone, but just kind of falls down low there in the zone. So a 3-1 here.
Yeah, if he started that one just a little bit up more towards the top of the zone,
This one is going to be hit by McKenzie. That one is going to be heading over into left. Taylor's going to track that one down and make the third and final out of the inning for Huntsville. So they stop the bleeding a little bit, but 7 runs put up by Montgomery here in the bottom of the 4th finds themselves up 8-0.
Yeah, and it's a tall mountain to climb, but, you know, it's the season riding on it. So you just got to try to find some kind of way. So got to get some of those runs back. I would say you got to at least get half of those runs back. Again, not to put pressure on yourself or to start pressing, but 4 runs would give you quite a bit of momentum. So 3 or 4 runs is what I'd be looking for here for the Hornet offense.
5, 6, and 7 due up in the lineup for Huntsville as we head to the top of the 5th inning here in Montgomery. We'll be right back after this on the Hornet Nation Broadcast Network, powered by KSAM Sports.
I'm Kobe Lovell, 2020 World Champion hitter, 7-time NFR qualifier.
I'm Ricky Canton, 15-time NFR qualifier, and currently hold the world's record in the calf rovement.
I'm Cody Johnson. I'm a platinum recording country music artist, cowboy team roper.
And I'm No Bull Bill, and I sell trucks. Oh, I don't even know what I'm doing here. Well, at least I sell them to the cool people.
We head to the top of the 5th inning. Huntsville kind of kept themselves alive there in the 4th inning, allowed 7 runs, but didn't allow themselves to get run ruled there in the bottom of the 4th. But if you're Huntsville, it's kind of just put up or shut up time as their season is on the line here in Montgomery, Texas.
Yeah, you had a long inning, half inning there for Irwin, sitting over there on the bench watching his teammates get some runs on the board for him. So maybe you're hoping that that long of a wait would cause a little bit of rust for him, and so as your Hornet offense can maybe come out and take advantage of it. Coach talking to his hitter, Brian Parker Jr., as he comes up to lead things off for your Huntsville Hornets.
So again, if Huntsville wants a postseason bid, they have to win tonight and then on Friday. So they're trying to keep their season alive and keep their postseason dreams kind of just keeping them dancing. So they've got a tall mountain to climb here, but it's doable. They find themselves down 0-8. See if Brian Parker Jr. can get on the base path for the Hornets. No hits on the day for the first baseman, but
yeah,
could be a good spot here to get on the base path, give Huntsville a little bit of momentum, maybe start a rally. Irwin with 47 pitches in this game as it throws that one just a little bit outside, trying to get that left corner for the pitcher in Irwin, but can't find it. 1-0.
Yeah, just got to get something started here. Brian Parker Jr. find something to get out there in the outfield.
He's got a good eye here early in the at-bat, as we talked about. Maybe a little bit of rust on Irwin, trying to locate that left side of the zone, but just unable to on these last 2 pitches. Here's the 2-0. Well inside for ball 3. Parker Jr. having to dodge that one. Doesn't want to get hit on the shin.
I believe Brian Parker Jr. has the biggest red sign you've ever seen. Do not swing.
So here's the 3-0 to Parker Jr. looking to get on the base path for Huntsville, and he will not as that one is in the zone. So a 3-1 count here to the first baseman in Parker Jr. Not the pitch he wanted there, so had some pitches to work with. So here's the 3-1. That one not in there for the zone for ball 4 of the at-bat. So Brian Parker Jr. will trot over to first base, bring up Moore, the pitcher, in for Van Brady into the batter's box. PA announcer struggling a little bit, but it is Moore in the batter's box, not Van Brady. His day was done there in the 4th inning.
Hunter getting at bat here. I like it.
So no outs here. Runner on first in Brian Parker Jr. well outside. Ooh. Strike 1 of the at-bat. Looked like that one was well outside, but and maybe the umpire trying to get out of here.
Yeah, I'd question that one.
Here's an 0-1-2 more. Another one a little bit outside, but umpire calls it strike 2. That one a little bit more over the plate, so 0-2 here faced by the pitcher Moore.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd question that one too much. The other one, yes, I would question.
Here's the 0-2, that one
in
there for a strike, and that is going to be 3 pitches looked at by the pitcher, Hunter Moore, and just first out of the inning for Huntsville with a runner still on first in Parker Jr.
Next to the plate, number 5, Johnny Waddell.
See what Johnny can get up here and do. See if he can't sneak one through the infield here.
Looking to get his first hit of the day is Waddell. With one out here and a runner at first in Brian Parker Jr. That one is going to be in there for a strike by Irwin. So he struggled a little bit in that at-bat with Parker Jr., but in these last 4 pitches, he has really located the zone well.
Yeah, able to find the strike zone, especially after a layoff of that long of an inning.
And that one is going to be in there for strike 2.
So if you're getting those calls on the outside, you can't fault the kid for going right back out there. I'd be doing the same thing.
So Waddell trying to lay off that one, but the umpire calling it strike 2 there on the outside. Called a pretty consistent game here, but a couple questionable calls in these last few at-bats. But regardless, Waddell will face an 0-2 count here.
Yeah, he's going to stay on that outside.
Yeah, Irwin just trying to paint that outside corner after he sees that kind of expanded strike zone here by the ump. But Waddell now with a 1-2 count. One out here in the top of the 5th. Here's the pitch. That one well outside for ball 2 as we see the same pitch pretty much thrown every at-bat. You know, that slider outside trying to get Waddell to chase.
Yeah, I think he'll come out there at least one more time, then maybe try to bust him inside.
Here's the 2-2, and that one is swung on by Waddell, heading over to the Huntsville dugout. Play is not going to be made, but a slide
Good hustle
by Shadorowicz, again putting his everything on the line there as he kind of dove headfirst there into the wall.
That kid, give it to him, man. He's making a hustle play out there for his team.
Absolutely, put it all on the line there with Shadorowicz as Waddell finds himself still alive in the at-bat. 2-2 count here. Parker Jr. still on first. Let's see if Waddell can kind of give Huntsville some momentum here in the batter's box.
Yeah, come back to that outside pitch.
Here's the 2-2. That one outside for ball 3. So Waddell with a good eye there to lay off of that one. So loads the count up here.
Yeah, that's a tough pitch to even take in that one because you've seen some of those called strike. But just going a ball outside each time.
That one is hit over into right. The right fielder's chasing, and that play is not going to be made. So Parker Jr. is going to hustle over to third.
Waddell's going to catch him.
Yeah, nearly. And Parker Jr. is going to hustle for the play. He is going to slide in. He is going to be safe. Oh, so the big man, Brian Parker Jr.
We'll take it.
They're going to call him safe. Yeah, so the first run of the game for Huntsville comes on a hustle play by Brian Parker Jr., you know. Not necessarily known for his speed, but showing a lot of it there on the run home.
Yeah, tag was just a little bit high. Looked like Parker Jr. just got the foot underneath the tag. Waddell, look at him stepping up, getting a triple.
So an RBI triple there for Waddell. Now you've got a runner in scoring position if you're Huntsville for Austin Taylor. Takes that one, ball 1.
If you're Brian Parker Jr., you just felt the presence of Johnny chasing you down, going to third base. He's like, I got to go home because Johnny's wanting to come over to third.
As Austin takes that one in for a strike. A good pitch there by Irwin. Will get that one in the zone, outside and in.
We got a little bit of life here. That even with one out, just getting that run in is going to be big for Huntsville. So do what you can to get that run in.
Sometimes in sports, you just got to see one go in. And so with the hustle by Brian Parker Jr., that's a big-time play by a big-time player at first. So you've got a 2-1 count here to Taylor with Waddell on third. Here's the pitch. That one is hit hard. Good pop there by Taylor, but just unable to keep that one in play. Evens the count at 2-2.
Yeah, you definitely want the base hit here. You will, if you have to, you'll trade an out for a run just to get that second run plated for the Hornets. So big at bat here for Taylor.
So an even count here for Taylor as that one's going to be outside for ball 3. As again, we've seen some of those called strikes tonight, but Taylor able to lay off that one, trust his instincts, loads the count up.
Yeah, that was a close one. I don't know if I'd have been able to take that one if I were Taylor.
Here's the 3-2 to Taylor. That one is in there for a strike. Taylor thought he had an easy trot over to first base, and that is going to be the second out of the inning for Austin Taylor as he strikes out looking.
Yeah, that may have been low, but it looked like it was in the strike zone and something you just got to take a swing at. Taylor had that one back again, I think he would want to swing at it.
So into the batter's box will come Gilbert, 1 for 1 on the day. As that one well outside for ball 1 to Gilbert. With a runner on third in Waddell. So if you're Gilbert, looking to swing this bat and bring Waddell home any way you can. Here's the 1-0. That one outside, ball 2.
That looked like it probably should have been a strike.
Well, Hornet faithful will definitely take that one because it gets Gilbert ahead in the count 2-0 as he hits a chopper down the third base line. He's going to run that one out, and it's going to keep Waddell over at third, but
foul ball.
Oh, no, they're actually going to call that one foul. Gilbert looked like that one may have just kind of prattled along that third base line, but regardless, umpire is going to call it foul ball.
It died out just before it got to the third base bag. So Dyer let it travel just far enough and went to the left-hand side.
So Dyer with a good eye there. He's made some good plays tonight at third for Montgomery. Gilbert faces a 2-1, and that one's going to be called strike. Again, seen some of those called balls, seen some of those called strikes. So if you're Huntsville, you just want it to be called consistent. Evens the count at 2. Here's the pitch. That one, again, strike 3, and that is going to strike out Gilbert looking on a third pitch outside.
Yeah, you just can't leave it into the hands of the umpire there. You've seen some of those. You just got to take the bat off your shoulders and swing at it.
Jennings maybe looking to have a conversation with the umpire. Will not, just kind of walks past him. But regardless, Huntsville is able to scratch a run across the board here in the top of the 5th inning as we head to the bottom of the 5th as Montgomery is due up here in the batter's box. We'll be right back after this on the Hornet Nation Broadcast Network, powered by KSAM Sports.
I'm Kobe Lovell, 2020 World Champion hitter, 7-time NFR qualifier.
I'm Ricky Canton, 15-time NFR qualifier, and currently hold the world's record in the calf rovement.
I'm Cody Johnson. I'm a platinum recording country music artist, cowboy team roper.
And I'm No Bull Bill, and I sell trucks. Oh, I don't even know what I'm doing here. Well, at least I sell them to the cool people.
Welcome into the bottom of the 5th inning here in Montgomery, Texas, as Huntsville able to scratch a run across the board there in the top of the 5th, but still a long way to go. But like BJ McMichael said, you know, you don't have to get them all in one inning. Huntsville, sometimes all it takes is seeing one go in, and seeing Parker Jr. run across that base path, I'm sure, gives Huntsville a little bit of momentum here.
The Z-Man sitting at home and watching it online, he said he was safe. Parker Jr. just got in ahead of the tag, so that makes us feel good to make sure. Looked like he had gotten in under the tag, but we're Hornet homers in some way, and so to have that agreement upon instant replay makes us feel a little bit better.
Got some instant replay, not in New York, but back home in Huntsville from the Z-Man. It's good to know that, Parker Jr. was able to beat that out. And, that's just kind of one of those plays, one of those bang-bang plays, especially a guy not necessarily known for his speed, able to make a play like that. I mean, that's got to get some good vibes going in the dugout.
Yeah, I still feel like he felt like he had Johnny breathing down his neck. And Johnny had probably gotten mad at him, saying, hey, you didn't let me get my triple. So he had to make a way to get down the home plate.
As into the batter's box is going to be Shadarwich. 1 for 2 on the day. Here's the first pitch from Moore. That one's going to be high and inside for ball 1.
Yeah, Z-Man calling the Bearcat game today versus A&M. Another tough one for our Bearcats.
1-0, and that one is swung on but foul by Shadarwich.
But they're playing a very hot A&M team right now that after their slow start in SEC play, they've got to try to change some the eyes of the critics there. So they've been putting on a show.
So no Z-Man tonight. That's why you're stuck with me on the mic tonight. Is that one by Moore in there for a strike. So good location in the strike zone there by Moore. Gets himself ahead in count against Shadarwich, 1-2. Big spot here for the pitcher, Moore, looking for the first out of the inning here in the bottom of the 5th. on a 1-2. That one low for ball 2.
Yeah, just a little bit low there. Hunter doing a good job of getting up here and challenging these batters. Even the count 2-2. See if he can't come out and get this first out.
And again, you don't really. Oh, that one, ooh, well behind the batter, Shadorwich, saying he maybe got hit by it, but you know, something you're not maybe not taking into consideration if you're watching on the YouTube stream. This game was scheduled to start at 7 p.m. A little bit of a rain delay, and it is currently 10 o'clock. Which, I mean, you know, for these high school kids, maybe not so late. For us wearing the headset, man, it's getting up there. It's getting almost bedtime.
Yeah, we had get to spend some time underneath the bleachers, trying to stay dry and listening for the lightning or listening for the thunder, looking at the lightning, but able to get back out to play.
And that one's going to be outside and low for ball 4, so it's going to be Shadorwich over to the first base path for Montgomery. Good crowd out tonight for both teams, Huntsville and Montgomery respectively, sticking with their teams, you know, through the weather delays. So it's good to see both teams supporting their respective baseball teams.
Yeah, good crowd for Huntsville traveling out here, like you said. And it's just been glad they'd be able to get the game in. It's a big game that has big implications on it. Huntsville, if they can pull out a win here, it keeps their playoff hopes alive. If not, then Montgomery for sure gets in.
As time is going to be called here for Hosler. As he steps into the batter's box, 0 for 1 on the day is the DH. Drew a walk earlier in the game and has also struck out. So still no hits on the day for the designated hitter in Hosler, but maybe looking to get on here. Double play opportunity alive for the Hornets with Shadorwich on first. He extends his lead over at first. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss as Hosler unable to make contact with that one. 0-1 count here for Moore. So Moore, good to see him get ahead in the count here, as that one is in there for a strike by Hosler. So 0-2 count here to the DH.
I think we have a different batter.
Oh, yeah, sure enough, it is not actually Hosler. That is going to be, I do apologize for that. So it's going to be number 15. Let me pull
I thought it was him too.
I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't
look like the number didn't match up.
So it is a new batter. It's going to be 15, Jake Hutchinson in for Montgomery. So apologies to Hosler. So he steps into the batter's box for Montgomery. Again, Montgomery has a very deep bench. We were talking about it earlier. As Hutchinson pops that one up foul, Taylor is going to track that one down and make the play. No tag-up opportunity at first for Shadorwich. So the first out of the inning for Huntsville keeps the runner at first.
Now batting number 14, Chase Hyatt.
So we head back to the top of the Montgomery lineup. Hyatt back into the batter's box, and that is 14, confirming the number. So one out here for Hornets. Still a double play opportunity on the board with Shadorwich at first. So if you're Moore, maybe look for a grounder over to short or second. Try and get that double play, give you a lot of momentum heading into the 6th inning.
Yeah, Moore still got to be careful with Hyatt here. This is a good hitter up to plate.
1 for 2 on the day, but did also draw a walk as Hyatt as he takes that one high for ball 1. So he's got a good eye and he's got some good pop there in the batter's box. So if you're Moore, you got to be careful to him. Maybe try and jam him inside on a grounder. Get that double play. Here's the 1-0.
Good pitch.
And that one is in there for a strike. 1-1 count here by the pitcher Moore. See, digs into the mound. Back into the batter's box is Hyatt. Peeks over at the runner in Shadorwich. And throws the pitch. That one inside at the shins of Hyatt for ball 2.
Yeah, a little bit low and inside on that one.
So a 2-1 count here for Moore. With one out here in the bottom of the 5th. Here's the pitch. That one in there for a strike. Good location by Moore. Gets himself ahead in the count, 2-2.
Yeah, challenging the batter here. Even the count. Don't have to give up the plate again.
One out here, 2-2. That one is hit into center field. That ball is going to be tracked down, and that one is going to be caught by Waddell. And that's going to be the second out of the inning for Huntsville. Good play there initially. Couldn't really necessarily see where the ball was going, but a good catch out there in center.
It's kind of blended in. You got the feet,
right?
The fence there, green, and then our green uniforms. You kind of see somebody moving back there.
Yeah.
And Johnny able to catch up to that one.
Kind of camouflaged himself into the wall back there in center, but a good catch there. Second out of the inning for Huntsville, so it keeps Shadorwich at first, and into the batter's box will be Cox. 0 for 2 on the day. That one is swung on. That one is going to hook foul, but a lot of power there for the second baseman, Cox. If you're Moore, you got to be careful. He's looking to swing, and he's looking for the fences.
Yeah, he's looking to drive that ball somewhere over these fences. Kid's got a lot of pop in his bat.
So no hits on the day for the second baseman, Cox. No walks on the day. Does have an RBI sac fly, but still no hits. Shows bunt, unable to locate that one, so he did not go. 1-1 count here to the second baseman. Maybe looking to throw more off of his rhythm there, especially here with 2 outs.
Yeah, trying to. It certainly looked like he offered at it. Maybe Carlos can tell us if he did.
We'll go to Huntsville, Texas on an instant replay. Did Cox go? We'll get confirmation from Huntsville shortly. So a 2-1 count here to Cox. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th if you're just tuning in. Here's the pitch. Outside. Ooh, in there for strike 2. So again, some of those outside pitches tonight have been either called balls or strikes. And, you know, if you're either team, you want it to be called consistent. But, you know, some pitches go your way. Sometimes they don't. But a 2-2 count here to Cox regardless. Here's the pitch.
Ooh.
And that one is hit over to short in Slater, and he's going to make the play over to Stanley for the third and final out of the inning. So Huntsville not able to, or excuse me, doesn't allow Montgomery to put a run across the board here. Keeps himself alive as we head to the top of the 6th.
Yeah, that's what you're asking for, right? Get zeros on the board and see if you can't get some crooked numbers up there for your team. That's all you can do as you head into the later innings of this game. So see if these Hornets can scratch some more runs and get back into this game.
Huntsville with 6 outs to work with here in Montgomery, Texas, find themselves down 1-8 as we head to the top of the 6th inning. Hornets looking to get back into this one any way they can. We'll be right back after this on the Hornet Nation Broadcast Network, powered by KSAM Sports.
Country music is different than other music genres. Our artists sing about family, friendship, the ups and downs of this old world, and living this life. Country music tells the story of us. 101.7 KSAM is your hometown radio station, playing today's best country and all your favorites. And you can have this hometown connection right there on your smartphone with the all-new KSAM mobile app. It's in your iPhone and Android app store right now. And we also have direct links on our website, ksam1017.com.
Top of the 6th inning action looking to get underway. Montgomery, Texas. Want to remind everyone listening, keep up to date with all things regarding your hometown radio station on social media. Follow us on Facebook, X, and on Instagram at KSAM1017 for all the latest in Huntsville and Walker County.
Yeah, Irwin still on the mound here for the Montgomery Bears. He's only given up 3 hits so far, only 1 earned run. He's only walked 1 and had 6 strikeouts, so they're going to want to get something going here. This is most likely, what was the pitch count there? Probably the last inning, I would imagine, for Irwin. So maybe they can get some hits off this guy and drive some more runs in. Starting with Noah.
He's looked confident all day up until that, inning where Huntsville was able to scratch a run across the board there in the 5th. Got his pitch count up a little bit. I believe it's somewhere in the 70s now. So this could be the last inning here for Irwin as Nieto hits that one hard but foul. You would have liked that one to stay fair.
And Nieto got angry at that ball.
Nieto swinging at it like it owes him money, but finds himself down 0-1.
He was making 320. No, he was wanting to make 320 look small on that one. Goodness.
As he finds himself down in the count 0-1, takes that one low for ball 1. So Irwin at 75 pitches here in the game, so potentially the last chance to dance here for the Montgomery pitcher. Yeah, so 1 for 2 on the day. Hits that one deep out into left field.
Let's
that
go.
ball is back, and that ball is off the wall there in left. The big green monster here in Montgomery, Texas, as Nieto gets a stand-up double here in the top of the 6th.
That's your junior leader out there wanting to try to fire up his team. Just in case you're not followers of Hornet baseball, he batted .305 last year. He is your district MVP, defensive MVP, and so he is a guy that likes to lead his team and get out there and lead by example. So doesn't surprise me that he got out there and drove that one, especially after that first pitch.
Yeah.
Drove that one off the wall.
He looked like he wanted to make hard contact with the ball. Courtesy runner in on the base path. Don't have a number yet, as we do have both umpires and pitcher in the way, but a courtesy runner on second for Huntsville. Still can't get a good reading on that number
Looks like
out
it
there.
may be Bell.
Yeah, it looks like it may be Evan Bell, number 18 out there on the base path for Huntsville. Get that updated for you once we get a better view. Here's the first pitch to Woods outside for ball 1. So Irwin, he's really been throwing that slider a lot tonight, looking to paint the outside corner of the zone, but just some of these calls not gone his way down the stretch. Peeks over at the runner. Here's the pitch. Again, outside, ball 2.
Yeah, Montgomery Bears have a 1 and a 7 out there on the board. We got the 1 part, and a 7 part would be great for the Huntsville Hornets to get this inning. Love to match it.
So if you're Huntsville, again, you got 6 outs to work with here. With a runner on second, and Bell, here's the pitch, and that one's in there for a strike. Good location there by Irwin to not fall down 3-0.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that take there by Carson, wanting to see if he can't get a fastball over, especially after getting behind in the count 2-0. Now you're ready to get the ball in play, just get a base hit and pass it on down the line.
Woods faces a 2-1 here, swings at that one foul, so looking to maybe ground that one over toward third baseman Dyer, but again, we've seen him make some good plays out there. So 2-2 even here for Woods. So Irwin, that pitch count continues to get up, and I think his coach finally realized it, as there's going to be a little bit of a mound visit here by both catcher, infield, and head coach.
Yeah, I could need to having a conversation with the infield, just kind of giving them some pep talk there. I don't see anyone moving right now from the bullpen, so
no action here in the bullpen right now for Montgomery, so not really necessarily sure what this one could be, but while we have this pause in the action, I want to remind everyone that our next broadcast of Huntsville Hornet Baseball is Friday night versus Montgomery. Coverage begins at 6:45 p.m. with a Bill Fick Ford countdown to first pitch, with first pitch to follow at 7 p.m. right here on the 101.7 KSAM YouTube channel. You know, regardless of tonight's outcome, definitely want to support these guys as they finish out their season. Still 6 outs to work with here. Keep their season and postseason dreams alive.
yeah, I got some work to do to make that happen. It starts right here with Carson Woods.
And even if you can scratch just 2-3 runs across the board here, it gives you some hope going into the 7th. But here's a 2-2 as Bell gets a big lead there over on second, able to make it back to the base. So Irwin unable to pick him off as he is looking to throw his 80th pitch of the game here in the top of the 6th. Peeks over at Bell, delivers the pitch. That one inside as Woods kind of got jammed up on that one, stays alive in the at-bat.
Yeah, challenged him on the inside. One of the other at-bats of Carson challenged him on the inside and got that fly out to shortstop. And so trying to challenge him in there again, maybe go an outside pitch on this one.
Even 2-2 here for Woods as he hits that one, a chopper over to short, and he is not going to make the play in time. So now runners on the corners for Huntsville as the play is unable to be made over there short by Nelson. And now Huntsville bringing up Stanley to the plate.
Yeah, that's a good job by Carson, seeing that the ball was going to be a slow roller, getting it down the line to make sure he gets to first base for his team, and Bell able to get over to third. No outs on the board, runners on the corners, and you got a little bit of life being shown here by the Hornets.
So into the batter's box will come Josh Stanley, looking for his first hit of the day, 0 for 2 so far, as he takes that one in for a strike on the outside corner there for the pitcher, Irwin.
Yeah, now Stanley's ready. Come inside to him, he could hurt it.
Runners on the corners, no outs as he throws over, and he is going to be safe over there at first. A good pickoff attempt there by Irwin as Woods got a little bit too comfortable over there on his lead, but thankfully able to slide back in just in time.
Yeah, it looked like he got underneath it. Almost got him on the backside there.
Yeah, definitely a bang-bang play over there at first. Here's the pitch. That one is hit by Stanley over to third in Dyer, and it could be a potential double play. No, just a play at second, but same situation here for Huntsville, runners on the corners, but now you've got one less out to work with.
Yeah, it could have been in trouble there, but good pickup there by the second baseman. Cox able to get that ball secured and get that out. But I tell you, that third baseman for Montgomery, he is good.
Man, Dyer has made some phenomenal plays over tonight.
Yeah, just real heads-up plays, but also just a solid defender over there at third base.
Stanley will reach first on a fielder's choice here, so still got runners on the corner if you're Huntsville, and another pickoff attempt by Irwin. Stanley slides in under the tag.
Yeah, just needing base runners and runs right now. I don't see the Hornets trying to steal one here.
As that one in there for strike one of the at-bat to Slater. Watches that one fly over the plate. So now down 0-1 here. Slater 0 for 2 on the day, looking for his first hit of the day, first action of the night for Huntsville, and another pickoff attempt. And that one is going to be wild, and that's going to send Bell home.
He may take third.
And he is going to hold up at second is Stanley, but Bell is going to get all the way home, the courtesy runner for Nieto, and that is going to give Huntsville another run here and a little bit more life here in the top of the sixth.
You absolutely take what you can get right there. If you're the Huntsville Hornets, you're just trying to continue to add some runs to the board, and ball being thrown low, able to advance Stanley to second and get that run in with Bell.
Irwin was really trying to pick off Stanley over there at first and just throws it low and wild. So now an 0-1 here. That one is popped up by Slater, but that one is going to be hawked down by Cluett, and that is going to be the second out of the inning for the Huntsville Hornets.
Yeah, it's interesting what you were talking about there. They were really keyed in on Josh Stanley over there, 3 or 4 pickoff attempts and even variations of a fake throw to third then over to first. So obviously they were concerned about something over there.
That'll bring up Brian Parker Jr. to the plate. Still no hits on the day, but obviously had the the run earlier in the game as he hoofed over to home and was able to avoid a tag. So he's looking for his first hit of the day, but again, if you're looking to get on base any way you can, if you're Parker Jr., that one is hit a blooper, but it's going to be tracked down by the left fielder in Cluett, and that's going to be the third and final out of the sixth inning for Huntsville.
Yep, you got one run on the board. And of course, you would wish for more, but hey, you extended this ball game, and you have a chance to carry it on into the seventh here. Just got to get out of this. Try to get out of here with no runs on the board and see if you can't scratch away and get 6 at the top of the seventh.
We head to the bottom of the sixth. Huntsville with only 3 outs to work with, but first you got to get 3 outs here in the bottom of the sixth. Can't allow a run to get across the board if you're Huntsville to kind of keep your hopes alive here. We'll be right back after this on the Hornet Nation Broadcast Network, powered by KSAM Sports.
I'm Kobe Lovell, 2020 World Champion hitter, 7-time NFR qualifier.
I'm Ricky Canton, 15-time NFR qualifier, and currently hold the world's record in the cap rovement.
I'm Cody Johnson. I'm a platinum recording country music artist, cowboy team roper.
And I'm No Bull Bill, and I sell trucks. Oh, I don't even know what I'm doing here. Well, at least I sell them to the cool people.
We head to the bottom of the sixth inning here in Montgomery, Texas. Huntsville only down 2-8 now, able to scratch a run across there in the top of the sixth, but still a lot of work to do if you're Huntsville. Can't allow a run here if you kind of want to keep your hopes alive. Go ahead and get 6 runs there in the top of the seventh. It's obviously going to be easier to get 6 runs compared to 7, so if you're Huntsville, you've got to be true here on defense.
Yeah, Cluett drove a scorcher down the third baseline to continue their scoring. So another dangerous hitter you got to be careful with, even as a leadoff. So I'd expect Hunter to just come right at him.
3, 4, and 5 due up here for Montgomery. First up is Cluett as he screams that one over into left, and that is going to put him on the base path for his hit. Another hit as he kind of gets hung up there on the first base, but we'll stay over there. So another screamer there by Cluett.
Yeah, just deposited that one into left field in front of Taylor. Able to get over to first, very easy. And then you got Dyer coming up.
Cluett now 2 for 4 on the day with Dyer coming up. No hits on the day, but has drawn 2 walks. So you've got a runner on first here with no outs in the bottom of the 6th. Montgomery maybe looking to add a little bit of insurance here. So here's the first pitch to Dyer from Moore. Now one paints the outside corner for strike 1. Again, we've seen some of those outside pitches be called balls. We've seen some of them be called strikes, but that one in favor of the Huntsville Hornet pitcher.
Yeah, this Dyer kid may not have any hits on the day, but he certainly saved his team some runs.
Yeah, he's been really good on defense, and that one inside. Nieto's going to make the throw, and that one is going to be not in time. So Cluett able to get over safe there at second as Slater and Stanley both heated to the plate.
Yeah, you can tell these Montgomery Bears, they don't want to give in any at all. They want to be sure to punch their playoff ticket tonight, so they're not holding back at all. They're still taking bases and trying to get runners in the scoring position.
So Moore with a 1-1 here, pitches inside, unable to locate the zone there. So the 2-1 count here to Dyer. Moore assesses the batter. Throws the pitch. That one is hit over to Parker Jr. He's going to easily hoof that one and make the play over at first, but it will advance the runner in Cluett into scoring position.
Yeah, good job by Parker staying down on the ball, getting the for sure out. Try to see if they can't now keep that runner right there at third with Richardson coming up.
We've got a dangerous batter here in Richardson. 3 at-bats on the day, 3 hits, 2 RBIs, so you know what he can do with the bats. If you're Moore, you've got to pitch away from this guy. You can give up the walk here, but you definitely don't want to allow this kid to hit the baseball. Here's the first pitch. That one high for ball 1, just outside the zone there.
Yeah, I like the challenge there by Hunter, though.
Here's the 1-0, 1 out. That one is swung on by Richardson, but missed, so Moore able to get him to chase there. So a 1-1 count here for the pitcher Moore.
Yeah, after coming up high with that first pitch, took a little bit off it, down in the zone, got him to chase.
The 1-1 with 1 out. Swing and a miss by Richardson, so he finds himself down in the count 1-2. Moore giving him a little bit of trouble here. He is 3 for 3 on the day, so it's been kind of a thorn in the side of Huntsville, but now 1-2 count here, 1 out, bottom of the 6th. So here's the pitch. That one is swung on, but foul, so some pop there by Richardson, but can't keep it in play, so he stays alive in the at-bat.
Pitch is coming dead left, dead left.
Here's the 1-2 with 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. Moore looking to get out of a bit of a jam here with a runner on third. That one is screamed out into left, and that is going to bring home Cluett as Richardson continues his reign of terror on Huntsville, 4 for 4 on the day.
Man, that was just a screaming base hit. Right there in front of Taylor. Nothing to do about it. Nothing you can do about it but just get that ball back in the infield. And that's the thing. You've seen those hits today. I can't remember but 1 or 2, dropped ball here and there. Basically, these Bears have just come out and taken it. I mean, they've hit the ball hard, put the ball in play. They've just hit the ball really hard.
Carter Nelson shows bunt, and he is going to be hit by pitch there. No. I'm going to say he didn't get hit as that one gets past Nieto. It's going to send Richardson all the way over to third base on some heads-up base running. So now you've got another runner on third, 1 out here.
It sounded like it hit something.
Yeah, maybe it hit Just
maybe hit the mid. Maybe
yeah,
hit
maybe.
nose. I couldn't see that one.
Maybe
Sounded like it hit somewhere.
He hit just the bottom barrel of that bat. Initially sounded like it may have hit his glove, but Richardson able to get all the way over to third on a pass ball by Nieto. So now Richardson over at third on a 1-0 count here to Nelson. Here's the pitch. Well outside for ball 2. So Moore trying to get that outside corner working, but just unable to locate it there. 2-0. So time is called for Richardson over at third. Had to tie his shoe, so a bit of a wardrobe malfunction for Richardson. He's able to get those cleats tied, excuse me, on a 2-0 count here. That one is hit deep into center field. That ball is going to be tracked down by Johnny, and that ball is going to be caught. Richardson's going to tag up. Parker Jr. makes the throw, and that one is not in time. Nieto kind of throwing the arms up there on a little bit of confusion. Wanted Parker Jr. to lead him towards the plate, but just unable to make the throw.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if that or just let the ball go through. I don't know if Noah called for the cut. I think Brian Parker Jr. may have just stepped into the cut.
May have,
and he just let him know, hey, I didn't call for the cut. One of those two. It was miscommunication, though. Absolutely, you're right.
You can see some frustration there by Nieto on the throw by Parker. As here comes the next batter into the batter's box in McKenzie. So good pitch there by Moore. It's the catcher in McKenzie. So 0-1, 2 outs here, as that one well outside by Moore on a slider, just trying to locate, again, that bottom corner zone, but can't locate it there on that pitch. Ties the count at 1. Now 1. Another low pitch there for Moore. On a 2-1 here to McKenzie. Huntsville finds himself down 8 here, and if you want to stay alive in this one, you just got to get this third and final out any way you can. 2-1, swing and a miss.
Yeah, and you just need something to change the body language out there. You got our kids frustrated with good reason. That 7th spot is just glaring up there on the board. You don't have a 7th spot up there. It's a 1-run ball game, and so it's kind of a hard bottom of the 4th inning to move past.
It's that one unable to locate the zone there for Moore. So now a loaded count here for the pitcher to McKenzie, who 0 for 2 on the day. Has a walk in the game, so a lot of walks drawn by Montgomery on this Huntsville pitching staff. So here's the full count. 3-2 outside, ball 4, and McKenzie's going to take his base. Second walk of the day drawn for him. So that'll put a runner on the base path for Montgomery and bring into the batter's box number 13, Shadarowicz. Here comes the courtesy runner for Montgomery. It's going to be number 16. Let's see if I can get a name here. It's going to be number 16, Tristan King, the courtesy runner at first for McKenzie.
Yeah, I think I'm hearing around here that Rudder may have beat Brenham tonight.
Yeah,
playing spoiler.
Yeah, Brenham. Been hearing, some whispers, some murmurs. Don't have an official score, but that's another one that could have some playoff implications. Again, Rudder, bottom of the district, but good playing spoiler tonight on Brenham. So here's the 0-0. 2 outs here as that one is swung on foul into the turf here near the Montgomery dugout.
Tell you, though, what I've seen from this Montgomery team, they're a good ball club. Doesn't surprise me that they only lost 1-0 to Lake Creek and then beat them 12-2. So I've seen some good hitting. We've only seen one pitcher, so don't know much about their pitching staff. But offensive-wise, they've got a good squad out there.
As Moore, again, just having a little bit of trouble locating the zone here. 1-1 count to Shadarowicz. 1 for 2 on the day is the first baseman as he swings at that one high in the zone. 1-2 count here for Moore, and now you can be a little bit more creative here if you're Hunter Moore.
Yeah, their team batting average for tonight is a .360. They have just been knocking the baseball around the field.
It's hard to win ball games if you allow 360, but that one, did he go? He did, and he's going to head over to first, and is that going to be the third and final out of the
Should
inning?
be,
It
yeah.
will be. Okay, so some
Two outs, you can advance.
Yeah, some miscommunication there, maybe a little bit by the umpire staff. Again, only 2 tonight, but Huntsville keeps the bleeding to a minimum, only allowing 2 runs there. They've got 3 outs to work with here in the top of the 7th. Their season on the line as we head to the top of the 7th inning here as Huntsville finds itself down 2-10. We'll be right back after this on the Hornet Nation Broadcast Network, powered by KSAM Sports.
Hello, this is John Burleson, president of Buckhorn Roofing. We specialize in residential and commercial roofing. We do roof inspections and roof replacements. We offer a 30-year architectural shingles that comes with a manufacturer warranty and workmanship warranties. On our commercial side, we offer roofing for businesses, offices, schools, and hospitals. Roofs consist of TPO, PVC, and silicone coating. We also can offer up to 20-year, no-dollar limit warranties on all commercial roofing. Please give us a call at 936-852-2044 or visit us at buckhornroofing.com.
Welcome back into the 101.7 KSAM YouTube channel on the Hornet Nation Broadcast Network booth. Once again, my name is Hardcastle, alongside BJ McMichael, bringing you all the action here tonight in Montgomery, Texas. Huntsville finds himself down in a big-time spot here, 2-10, 3 outs to work with if you're the Hornets.
Yeah, we got a new pitcher on the mound coming in, number 22, I believe.
Yeah, looks like that's going to be number 22 for Montgomery, Hudson Bronner, stepping into the mound tonight for Montgomery. Again, it was Irwin most of the way, went 6 innings pitched there for the Bears. Only allowed 5 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts, so had himself a pretty good night wheeling and dealing against this Huntsville squad. But maybe, you bring in a new pitcher if you're Huntsville, get a new look, and you can scratch 8 runs across the board, tie this one up.
Yeah, it's your last chance to get it done, so you need that at least 8 runs to extend the ball game, 9 to put pressure on this Montgomery Bear team.
And look,
seen stranger things happen.
Look who's back in the batter's box for Huntsville. Van Brady pulled earlier in the game during that 4th inning. It ended his night, but he's stepping back into the batter's box. That's good to see for Huntsville. He looks to keep the Hornets' postseason dreams alive.
You hear the Huntsville bench going, "Let's go, Brody," because the announcer here keeps calling him Van Brody. So they're giving it to him out there.
So here's the first pitch to Van Brady. Inside for ball 1, takes that one. So finds himself up in the count here. Pitcher's duel here between Van Brady as that one, again, a little bit too high for the zone, 2-0.
I tell you, this may be the last time we see Van Brady pitching for your Huntsville Hornets. And I'm going to tell you, this kid he's just been the ace of your staff. He's been the guy that's righted the ship when things seem to have gone wrong. And so it's been a pleasure to watch this kid pitch all season.
So he takes that one well inside for ball 3.
Last couple of seasons. So this is the last game that we see him pitch. I know the Hornet faithful deserve, give him definitely a round of applause because of what he's done for this program and moving into this district and showing why he's a Hardin-Simmons commit.
He takes that one in for a strike, does Van Brady. So, yeah, you talk about senior leadership on this team. 12 seniors on this Huntsville Hornet roster. So, again, a lot of seniors. So, this could be some of their last times putting on the uniform. As that one is caught over there.
Good catch.
By Shadorowicz as he throws the hands up as he is able to get that one. So, for the first out of the inning for Huntsville.
Yeah, you just tip the cap over there to first baseman. Way to track that one down and over the shoulder catch. That is not an easy catch to make. You got to stay with it and watch that all the way into the glove.
Excuse me, miscounted 13 seniors on this Huntsville Hornet roster, so a team comprised mostly of upperclassmen. So, if they want to keep their hope season dreams alive, they've got 2 outs to work with here in the top of the 7th. So here comes Waddell into the batter's box. Watches that one scream down the middle, but high for ball 1.
Yeah, last time up we saw Johnny hit a shot to the gap, actually over the right fielder's head and for the triple.
So he takes that one well inside for ball 2.
As he chased down Brian Parker Jr. Really, Johnny's come on, and of late, he would tell you he struggled beginning of the year, but just some things you learn as he takes that ball there. Some things I love about athletics and just things you learn out here that apply to so many other areas of life. And so you push through the struggles. Takes another ball, gets the walk, 4-pitch walk. But you take those struggles, you face those, you encounter them out in the ball field, but that translates into life. And so watching that kid play baseball for the number of years, watching him even when I was younger and playing, and then now with the Hornets for these past couple of years, it's great to see him get some hits and find some at-bats and to feel good about himself right here towards the end of the year.
So here comes Austin Taylor into the batter's box after Waddell drew the walk. So you've got a runner on first for Austin. Takes that one inside for strike 1. So an 0-1 count here to Austin, looking for his first hit of the day.
Yeah, another kid proud of here, coming off an injury of varsity football, leading his team. Oh, takes it inside. Leading his varsity team to the playoffs, but was injured before could get to the playoffs, but he was still a leader on the sidelines. There's a little scooter encouraging the backup quarterback, Zay Adolph. And this kid just loves to play, and whatever he does, playing football, playing baseball, he just wants to be out and playing. And so always a good leader for his team, whatever it's a vocal leader or leading by his actions.
He takes that one low for ball 3, so he's 1 pitch away from being on first with Waddell on second. There's going to be a mound visit here by the catcher in McKenzie, talking to the new pitcher, Bronner. Losing a little bit of control here. Kind of the polar opposite of Irwin, who had, really good control on the mound. Bronner had been a little bit wild here on these last few Huntsville batters, but
a coach coming out and make the visit.
Yeah, it looks like a coach will now come out here to make the visit. The head coach and the infield will go ahead and trifle into the pitcher's mound to kind of talk to and maybe, looks like it's just going to be the coach and the catcher. So 3-man meeting here for Montgomery. While we have a pause in the action, go ahead and thank some more of our wonderful sponsors who make these broadcasts possible. This broadcast of Huntsville Hornet Baseball is brought to you by Bilfick Ford. No bull, just good deals. And by Buckhorn Roofing, expert roofing solutions in Huntsville, Texas, protecting your home one shingle at a time. Wiesner of Huntsville, home of the bottom line. And also brought to you in part by Huntsville Independent School District. It's a great day to be a Hornet. We're building champions, every one, every day.
See if Taylor can't make something happen on this pitch. Take a ball. There you go.
There you go. Put yourself on the base path, does Austin Taylor. So no hits on the day, but draws his first walk of the game, does the senior. And now it brings up Colton Gilbert. Here with runners on first and second. Only one out here in the top of the 7th for Huntsville. Is Bronner. We're going to close out the Hornets, but Huntsville looking to stay alive. Here's the pitch. Right down the middle for ball 1 to Gilbert. Looking for his second hit of the day. He's 1 for 2 so far. So he will find himself down 0-1. Pitch, as that one's in there for a strike, a little bit inside on the zone there. You either swing at it and get an awkward jam, or you just kind of look at it and tip your cap there if you're Gilbert.
Yeah, tough pitch there. Got to fight now. Got to protect that plate.
So here's the 0-2 to Gilbert. That one well outside on a little bit of a curve there by Bronner.
Yeah, had some good movement on that one. It's just way outside the other batter box.
Yeah. So still only one out here for Huntsville on a 1-2 pitch from Bronner. That one in there for strike 3. So Gilbert strikes out looking on Bronner. And now, if you're Huntsville, this is the final out to keep your postseason hopes alive.
Have some fun out there, Noah. You had a 3-run homer. Come on. Hit the top of the wall last time.
Yeah, Nieto nearly had a home run back in his last at-bat. Swung at the ball very angrily in the first pitch and then was able to put it out in left off the Big Green Monster here in Montgomery, Texas. So if you're Nieto, 2 for 3 on the day here. 1 swing of the bats could give yourself a 3 RBI shot here. As again, some movement here on these pitches by Bronner, just unable to locate the zone as he throws a ball 1 here early.
Yeah, good location, picking that up right out of his hand. Could see that it was going to be way up over out of the strike zone.
1-0 here to Nieto, 2 outs. That one outside for ball 2, so good eye there by the catcher Nieto.
Yeah, you got a 2-0 count here. I would give Nieto the green light, especially how he swung the bat last time. If he gets one right down the middle, man, I would let him see if he can deposit it over the fence.
Got some good power, does Nieto, but unable to locate the barrel on that one as he watches that one whiz past his bat for strike 1 of the at-bat.
Yeah, sitting on fastball there, looking for fastball. Give the pitcher a little credit there. Give him a little off speed on the outside corner.
Nieto calls for time.
Nieto was committed to that pitch wherever it was going to go and just thinking he may get a 2-0 fastball.
Waddell and Taylor on first and second for Huntsville. 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. Last out of the postseason hopes for the Hornets. As that one is swung on by Nieto on the left, and that one is going to drop in front of the left fielder. So bases loaded here for Huntsville as Waddell is actually going to dig for the plate, and he is going to make it in time, and heads up base running by Taylor and Nieto put them on second and third.
Yeah, good shot there by Noah. Hit that ball hard right in front of the left fielder. Good call by Coach, not sending early because right now you just need base runners. But that ball got past the third baseman and the catcher, and the pitcher for the Montgomery Bears not covering in time. And Johnny's able to just kind of stroll on home. You got some action going on here. A little late life with the Hornets with runners on second and third, looking to push across 2 more runs. Make this a 5-run ball game.
As into the batter's box will step Carson Woods. 1 for 3 on the day is Woods as he swings at that one hard, looking to make hard contact with that one, but just unable to locate it. 0-1 count here.
Yeah, keep your head in the at bat there, Carson, and you will send that ball a long way.
So calls for time, steps out, readjusts. Steps back in as he takes that one in for strike 2. Yeah, Bronner has had some good movement on his pitches. Hits that one outside on the corner. So now Woods with only 1 strike to work with here in the top of the 7th. The 0-2. That one in there for strike 3 looking, and Woods ends the game here for Huntsville. They will fall 3-10 here in Montgomery, Texas, and have their postseason hopes dashed by the Montgomery Bears squad.
Yeah, unfortunate for your Hornets there. This was a ball game that they had to have. We are going to have another ball game in Huntsville either Thursday or Friday. Don't know about the rain, what may or may not happen there, but come out and celebrate these guys. There's some great seniors on this team, and even though it doesn't look like the postseason is going to happen, these guys are worth celebrating and getting out there for what they've done this season. Moved into a tough district. Played really good at times. They would tell you played not so good at times. Some of those wins that got away, they're coming back to bite you now. But, hey, these guys never quit. And they get out there and play hard. And there's some good kids on and off the field. So it's worth getting out there and coming and supporting these guys in the last game of the season.
Absolutely, and you know, Huntsville, just a tough pill to swallow here as they fall 3-10 here in Montgomery, Texas. A game you had to have if you wanted to keep your postseason hopes alive for head coach Justin Jennings and his squad, but sending off a lot of seniors here, and you know, you've got one more game on Thursday and Friday, so just try to go maybe play a little bit of spoiler, try to maybe impact the standings there towards the end of the season, but Huntsville, unfortunately, will not receive a postseason nod this year as they fall, once again, 3-10 here to Montgomery.
Yeah, again, I just feel bad for these guys. Yeah. That glaring 7 runs in the bottom of the 4th, right? Yeah. That's the thing that really stands out to you. You don't have that run. You don't have that 7-run inning. This could possibly be a tied ball game here in the 7th, and so that's just a hard one. But here's the thing: you got 1 error on the board. The 1 error that we committed was just the foul ball, but that was after the 7 runs had already happened. And so, these guys, Montgomery just came out and took it, and so we were excited about getting to watch them and just to see them come out here and play and just. Kind of leave it out here on the field. You wish better better on our end for the green and white, but you tip your cap to Montgomery Bears. They just come out, They hit the ball and played, and they needed it, and they got it.
So now we've got some words here with head coach Justin Jennings. We'll try to get him here on the post-game show. If we're unable to get a word with him, we'll go ahead and just wrap up here, as it is getting pretty late here in Montgomery, Texas. Again, 10:52 p.m. if you're in a different time zone than Montgomery, Texas. So we'll see if we can get a word here with him post-game, kind of give some final thoughts on the season and some final thoughts on some seniors that he's going to kind of send away here in Montgomery, Texas, and his Huntsville Hornet squad. But we'll be right back after this, try to get a word with head coach Justin Jennings. If not, we'll go ahead and wrap it up here on the Hornet Nation Broadcast Network, powered by KSAM Sports.
With the new year comes great things, and here at Wiesner in Huntsville, that means lower prices. Hi, folks. Clint Mack here with Wiesner Chevy in Huntsville, and we're starting the year out by giving our best deals around. Come in and get a 2025 Chevy Colorado starting at only $29,995, or a 2025 Chevy Malibu starting at only $25,995, and get 1.9% APR. Need a full-size truck? Take up to $8,000 off a 2025 half-ton crew cab. Ask dealer for details right here at Wiesner in Huntsville. Take advantage of the great inventory here at Wiesner Chevrolet, or visit us online at WiesnerHuntsville.com.
I'm Kobe Lovell, 2020 World Champion header, 7-time NFR qualifier.
I'm Ricky Canton, 15-time NFR qualifier, and currently hold the world's record in the calf roadman.
I'm Cody Johnson. I'm a platinum recording country music artist, cowboy team roper.
And I'm No Bull Bill, and I sell trucks. Oh, I don't even know what I'm doing here. Well, at least I sell them to the cool people.
Hello, this is John Burleson, president of Buckhorn Roofing. We specialize in residential and commercial roofing. We do roof inspections and roof replacements. We offer a 30-year architectural shingles that comes with a manufacturer warranty and workmanship warranties. On our commercial side, we offer roofing for businesses, offices, schools, and hospitals. Roofs consist of TPO, PVC, and silicone coating. We also can offer up to 20-year, no-dollar limit warranties on all commercial roofing. Please give us a call at 936-852-2044 or visit us at buckhornroofing.com.
Huntsville wakes up to the all-new KSAM Wake Up Morning Show with Brian and Tracy. Get a positive start on your workday with local news, weather and sports, and some inspiration and laughs to warm you like a hot cup of coffee. And now you can join the daily conversation with Brian and Tracy by calling or texting the KSAM listener line at 936-295-4102. Come on, neighbor. The all-new KSAM Wake Up Morning Show with Brian and Tracy on 101.7 KSAM. Country music is different than other music genres. Our artists sing about family, friendship, the ups and downs of this old world, and living this life. Country music tells the story of us. 101.7 KSAM is your hometown radio station, playing today's best country and all your favorites. And you can have this hometown connection right there on your smartphone with the all-new KSAM mobile app. It's in your iPhone and Android app store right now. And we also have direct links on our website, KSAM1017.com.
Find us on social media on both Facebook and X at KSAM1017. Also be sure to subscribe to the 101.7 KSAM YouTube channel so you don't miss out on anything going on with your hometown radio station.
With the new year comes great things, and here at Wiesner in Huntsville, that means lower prices. Hi, folks. Clint Mack here with Wiesner Chevy in Huntsville, and we're starting the year out by giving our best deals around. Come in and get a 2025 Chevy Colorado starting at only $29,995, or a 2025 Chevy Malibu starting at only $25,995, and get 1.9% APR. Need a full-size truck? Take up to $8,000 off a 2025 half-ton crew cab. Ask dealer for details right here at Wiesner in Huntsville. Take advantage of the great inventory here at Wiesner Chevrolet, or visit us online at WiesnerHuntsville.com.
I'm Kobe Lovell, 2020 World Champion header, 7-time NFR qualifier.
I'm Ricky Canton, 15-time NFR qualifier, and currently hold the world's record in the cap rovement.
I'm Cody Johnson. I'm a platinum recording country music artist, cowboy team roper.
And I'm No Bull Bill, and I sell trucks. Oh, I don't even know what I'm doing here. Well, at least I sell them to the cool people.
All right, welcome into the post-game wrap-up here with head coach Justin Jennings. All right, first off, Coach, you know, obviously tough pill to swallow as y'all fall tonight 3-10 to a good Montgomery squad. Just before we get into the nitty-gritty, just your first and final thoughts on the game.
Man, they just I mean, they made every play. They didn't give us anything. They didn't make a single mistake. You know, everything was just going their way. They're playing well right now, pretty hot. You know, we didn't give them anything. I mean, we competed our tails off from the start to the end there. You know, just didn't go our way tonight, man. They made every play. If they kick a ball here or two, one of those plays down the line, and you know, we add one or two there, and you know, it's a completely different deal. So, but pleased with the way our kids fought there at the end.
Yeah. And, you know, you kept it close there through 4 innings, but, you know, just you go to the bottom of that fourth, kind of the glaring thing there on the scoreboard, a 7-run 4th inning. So just talk about what you saw there from that 4th inning and just how Montgomery was able to scratch 7 runs across the board.
Yeah, we got behind in the count there a few times, and then we go out and, you know, we talk to them, and then we make a mistake, and you know, they hit a base clearing double there. So just didn't get it done there, and you know, they did what they had to do. They got guys in scoring position, they squared balls up, and they hit them hard. So you know, credit to them. Again, they're playing well right now. You know, just one bad inning, and that's kind of been the microcosm of the whole year, really. You know, we've just had some games where one inning has kind of put us out of it, and you know, essentially did it tonight, and you know, it's hard to battle back after that, but you know, our kids did a pretty good job. I was very pleased with that.
You know, you get moved into this new district. It's obviously a really tough district, a lot of quality opponents. You know, you got Lake Creek, you've got College Station, A&M, Consol. Even the bottom of the district, I heard some talking. It seems like Rudder put the beat down on Brenham tonight, was able to pull out a win there. So, you know, just a tough district through and through all season. Just talk about your overall thoughts on the season tonight as, you know, obviously you guys do fall out of playoff contention with a loss tonight, but just talk about what you've seen tonight from, you know, all season, especially competing in a district as tough as this.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be tough. You know, it's just top to bottom is just really good. You know, that's the thing. The districts that we've been in the past, the top has been pretty solid, but the bottom has just been, you know, just been some automatics. And excuse me, there's not really any automatics in this district, and you know, everybody is very competitive, and everybody is really close. And you know, if a team gets hot and you know, they get hot and they get on a roll, they're going to be tough to beat because everybody is pretty solid. So, and I think that's case in point where Montgomery's at right now. They're pretty hot right now. They're playing well. They've been doing a good job of late. But you know, I think, you know, it's hard to, you know, I haven't had to have this conversation before the last game in 5 years since we've been here. You know, so it's kind of tough to have that conversation, but. You know, I think we've closed the gap. I think we've gotten to, you know, a competitive spot, and everybody knows, you know, that they got to bring their A game to get us. So I appreciate that from our kids, and we've closed the bridge, we've closed the gap, and you know, we've got to get better. You know, we got to get better this offseason, and obviously we're losing a lot of playmakers and a lot of seniors that have played a lot of baseball for us. So, but again, we've closed the gap tremendously, and we're where we need to be. We just got to get a little bit better.
Speaking on those seniors, you know, you've got 12 seniors currently rostered on this team, and, you know, they kind of are playing one of their last games here tonight. You know, they still got one more either on Thursday, Friday, weather permitting. We'll see what the weather is. You know, you obviously had the late start today, but obviously, you know, you're sending off 12 seniors, you know, playmakers who have been here all 4 years for this Huntsville Hornet squad. So you kind of get them for one more game, but then, you know, you send them off, you know, into the sunset. So just talk about what all these seniors have meant to your team and just kind of how they've impacted your program here during your time.
Man, these 13 seniors have played a lot of baseball for us, a lot of meaningful ball, won a lot of games for us, you know, really have, you know, helped us get to where we are today. And, you know, there's a lot of really good players, and, you know, several of them are going to go on and play at the next level. And I think a lot of them are just scratching the surface of you know, their ability. You know, they're good kids. They're funny. They don't take themselves too seriously. They don't, you know, they keep everything pretty light and lighthearted. And I think that's what allows them to be successful. You know, it's going to be tough losing that many.
Yep.
It's going to be tough losing that leadership and the innings on the mound and the offensive production that we've gotten from them the last 2 or 3 years with some of them. And,
yes, sir.
you know, and some of them stepped up and played really, really well this year as seniors and done really everything we ask, you know. And it'll be tough. It'll be tough. It'll be tough to replace them. It'll be tough to lose them. They're great kids, and you know they're great members of society. So I don't have enough positive, good things to say about them.
All right, last question here for you, Coach. Again, you've got one more game Thursday, Friday. We'll kind of see how the weather plays out here, but you've kind of got one more game. No real implications. You kind of just get to go out there and have fun with this group. You know, send off 13 seniors, get to see what they're made of one more time. So just talk about what you're looking for in that game and how you're going to send these guys off, you know, with a bang.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really tough. Not really my style to just roll out there and, hey, let's have some fun and see what happens, you know.
Yes,
but that's the tough part of it when you're in this situation. And, you know, we'll try to get them. We'll try to get them out there and try to get them some innings. But you know, you know, ultimately we're going to play some of our other guys that you know that we're going to be counting on moving forward. I mean, obviously we got a couple days, but I assume we'll roll out pretty much the same lineup we've been doing. You know, Noah will start and Q will catch, and then you know, Will Barrett will be available for the first time in a couple months, and he'll get some work on the mound, and then we'll just kind of see how it plays out. But you know, these next 2 days of practice are tough, you know, and then obviously going into a meaningless game and, you know, can kind of be tough, you know, for a coaching staff to kind of juggle that. But, you know, it is what it is, and sometimes that happens. So we'll do what we got to do, and we'll try to get the most out of them that we can.
Coach,
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Appreciate your coverage. Thank you.
Of course. That was head coach Justin Jennings here on the Bill Fick Ford post-game wrap-up. You kind of heard your thoughts here from Coach, you know, as BJ McMichael puts on the headset, you know, talk to Coach, you know, it's just kind of tough. He sends off 13 seniors. You kind of, not really his staff style to go out there and, you know, Thursday, Friday game kind of have a meaningless game, but, you know, he's just proud of them. He talks so highly of their character and how they really are great contributors of society. So you get to kind of have one more last ride into the sunset with this group either on Thursday or Friday. So, you know, just kind of what's your thoughts on this season?
Yeah, when you see these guys, you know, get to visit with them in the school, so not just on the field, but you get to hang out with them in school. A lot of these guys are leaders in different places. Some of them lead in FCA. Some of them lead in other extracurricular activities within the school. So baseball isn't the only thing they do. You see them in other areas. And so just getting to watch them off the field is you know, a privilege. And take the time to get to know them off the field. Then once you see them do here, it's even more meaningful and impactful because you want them to succeed and do well. And when they fall short of it, then there's lessons you learn in that too, right? So that's what we talk about on the broadcast. That's the great thing about sports. Do we want them to compete and win? Absolutely. Do we want them to learn things that impacts their lives off the field? Absolutely. So there can be two things can be true at one time, and that's what you want. What you see in these guys, and they're a lot of fun to be around. They're a lot of fun to just watch, play, and enjoy the game of baseball, and you get to do it one more time. So those of you back in Huntsville, whatever the game is going to be, we've got the best facility in the district. Come out, enjoy watching them play, and cheer on these guys. They're worth it. they're worth giving your time to cheer for.
Absolutely. You know, send them off one last time into the sunset. Send off the 13 seniors that head coach Justin Jennings had on his roster. But, you know, tough pill to swallow here tonight in Montgomery. You know, we talked about it all night, that glaring 7th spot there in the 4th inning. You know, just kind of everything. He talked about it on the postgame. Everything just went Montgomery's way. You know, sometimes you have nights like that in baseball where all you can do is just tip your cap and say, you know, they had plays go their way, we didn't. And so that's kind of how they won the game. But that's what was the MO tonight here in Montgomery. Huntsville falls 3-10, and it's a tough pill to swallow, especially getting the no postseason bid for the first time in 5 years.
Yeah, and they'll be fine. They'll do fine. This big thing we can do, let's just get out and support them.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. And just go support this squad going forward. Game on Thursday or Friday, weather permitting, we'll see. We'll keep y'all updated on social media about all that. But that is your story here tonight. Huntsville falls 3-10 here tonight. I want to remind everyone listening that tonight's video broadcast is being presented in 2K Quad HD with a 4K Ultra HD enhanced presentation. Closed captioning is also available for the hearing impaired. And tonight's broadcast is copyrighted for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this broadcast without the express written consent without the express written consent of 101.7 KSAM and Huntsville High School Athletics is strictly prohibited. I read the wrong one. It's late. Come on, give me some slack. For all y'all listening back in Huntsville, to everyone who makes these broadcasts possible, Carlos Zimmerman stepping in for him tonight, everything he does, my crew alongside me, Justin Hardcastle, camera, Damien Smith, producer, BJ McMichael, appreciate you being on the broadcast.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming out tonight, brother. But, you know, that's been kind of the MO tonight. Huntsville falls 3-10, so we'll go ahead and get wrapped up here. Again, late night, late start for Huntsville. On 3, one final sting 'em. 1, 2, 3. Sting 'em Hornets. Good night. God bless. We'll be back Thursday or Friday here to support this final Huntsville Hornet baseball game.